This man doesn't know what he's
Sports
talking
Radio
about.
560 WQAM Miami
Neil
Fort
said
Lauderdale
he played on the
presents
first line
the
in the power
Neil
play.
Rogers Show.
If he
To
wants
talk
to
to
get it,
Neil,
you know
call
that.
567-0560
Hey, Geldy,
toll free
get with
for
it, okay?
David
You
Broward
don't know what
or
you're talking
pound
about, Geldy. It's the
560 on your
Panther
cell
outsider,
phone.
the
The
suckhole.
opinions of
The
Neil,
Panther
his
suckhole.
guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not
Come on, Geldy,
necessarily
get a life.
reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions,
so full
or
of
the
misinformation
Beasley
makes me want to
Broadcast
puke.
Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
So, where's the Davy Gravy line?
Well, I'm Jerry Falwell, I'm the right hand of God. And when I woke up today, I put my TV on, and instead of Kathy Lee or CNN, I saw a purple creature with a gay sign on his head. It was an upside-down triangle, purple tinky winky.
Upside-down triangle, purple tinky winky.
Upside-down triangle, purple tinky winky. Hey, Teletubbies. Well, just when I thought things couldn't get worse, I noticed he was carrying a little purse. Now, how can they call this a children's show?
I may be purple, but I have a brown hole.
He has an upside-down triangle, purple tinky winky.
Upside-down triangle, purple tinky winky. I'd love to join your ball.
Yay, purple tinky winky. Yay, Teletubbies. Well, most about Christian Science is hard to believe, but on the Teletubbies tummy is a TV screen. It had a purple penis pointing straight at me that was blowing a noise through the hole in the thing.
One on your purple station for the 90s, WQAM. Exactly. So anyway, like I just said, and I get sidetracked because I made the mistake of potting the thing up before they were finished this morning and listening to the Panther suckhole on there. And you have no idea what you're talking about. He's analyzing about, Colorado and about now they got Theo Ferry, who did score a goal, by the way, last night, but they still lost 4-3 to Edmonton. But nevertheless, there's only one game on last night if you have the small dish, Geldy, if you're really following your sports so they can come on and talk about it and act like you know what you're talking about. And they made a point of pointing out that Theo Ferry didn't play on the first line on a power play for Colorado. He played on the second unit. Deadmarsh played with Forsberg and Sakic. But hey, that would require doing a little bit of homework and paying attention to what you're supposed to be talking about. All I can say is,
Goldie, I pop him out.
God, man, the misinformation. And of course, it's easy to do that in this town because there are like maybe 10 of us who watched that game last night who got the small dish or have any interest or even know what two teams those are. But don't get me started on that, okay? I don't want to get started off on a tangent on that crap. Although I do want to say this for those malcontents. Since yesterday we had our big 23rd anniversary here. And I thank everybody for, all the goofy stuff they sent, including the food. And by the way, stop giving me fattening stuff, okay? No more cakes and no more biscottis. God damn it. Go down and get give me a figurine at Scotty's and forget the biscottis. Just cut the crap already. Yeah, I ate almost that whole package last night. Sent my blood sugar soaring to like 350. It's pretty good though. But cut the crap. Well, we didn't know what to do for you, Yeah, I know. But anyway, I was thinking during some idle thoughts while I was sitting here avoiding listening to the worst team this morning and all that misinformation that Geldy pukes out. The people that scream and holler about the fact that this is supposed to be a sports station, I'm, here in the middle of the day screwing it all up. The most successful sports radio station in America, it's not even close, is The Fan in New York, WFAN. Does Don Imus do a sports show?
No.
A dead man in a chair, but does he do a sports show?
No.
And his show brings in more revenue, by the way. They make more money on his show than any other show on that station. Sound familiar?
Yes.
And has higher ratings than any other station show on that station. Sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay. Just thought to mention that for all the sports nerds that can't handle 4 hours a day and not hearing the Knicks and the Heat and the Heat and the Knicks and all this juvenile pre-adolescent crap. But anyway, Geldy said, I ran out of stuff on my balloon. This is great. Maybe we could just, remember that time we had the guy brought a whole thing of helium? Not good for you, by the way. Makes you lightheaded. Brian Andrews used to say it'll make you light on your feet. And I said, boy, you must really be sucking on it. And he said, yeah, some oxygen too. But anyway, see, you take a little bit of the oxygen, you can't be responsible for what you're saying. You start battling all kinds of incoherent stuff. By the way. Yes?
Happy Purim!
No, it's not. I thought it was March 12th.
No, it's today. Starting last night.
It's Purim? Oh, my God.
Happy Purim!
See, this is what I'm telling you. Yesterday it was the 23rd anniversary, which Bluff Lindsay overdid a little bit. By the way, I heard that he's the one that blew up the balloons. But nevertheless, they wanted to be very nice. They did a lot of nice stuff, and I appreciate that. But they throw in there some stuff that's killing me. I can't eat that stuff. And you put that in front, I don't want to go through that again. I always say I don't want to go through that again, but you notice that I do? Because this could really be a neat place to work. If we had a general manager that had an IQ larger than his small toe, that would help. A guy that knew something about people. The only thing he knows about relating to people is who's got the naked pictures and what he better do to make sure that they don't get released. That's about the only relationship he's got with people. Because we got I find out this morning a grotesque piece of news. I thought it was bad enough we had the water Nazi upstairs. The little dictator that runs around. Little people with inferiority complexes, and with all due respect to George, who's about 2 feet tall. But I've told you over the years that little people generally tend to have Napoleonic complexes, and they want to boss everybody around because they're little shrimpy people, and everybody laughs at them because they're like little overgrown kids, like midgets. My grandmother used to call them midgets. Yeah, he's a midget. And we got a midget upstairs who evidently, not enough we have the water Nazi, we got the food Nazi upstairs. See, I don't know if they talked about this on the morning show, but generally they're a bunch of pussies anyway. They're too busy listening to Geldy regale them with misinformation about Fleuru, which he knows nothing about what he's talking about, because he's not doing his homework. See, if I were on a sports station, one of the prerequisites, if I were doing a sports show on a sports station, one of the prerequisites would have to be that I had a satellite dish. Now, there's some of these guys who are like schleppers, or maybe some of these guys who live in a place where they can't have a big dish, but almost everybody now can have a small dish, which, by the way, I got my letter I've been waiting for from the Superstar Entertainment, my satellite big dish people. No more CBS. I'll get to that later. You bastards! Not Superstar Satellite, and they're great. I'm talking about the local affiliates, especially Channel 4, WFOR. I hope that nobody watches your goddamn station, okay? You make me sick. And that Angela Ray, boy, she better do something about that big zit she's got on her lip. Wonder how she got it. Yeah, did you ever see her with that big thing she's got on her lip? Ooh. The more I watch that, the more I realize it's bad for your health to watch Channel 4 News. And that guy they brought in from out of town with a real ruddy red face that looks like he got here the first week out of bad melanoma right off the bat. Channel 4 News. Alan Shacklin is the Antichrist at Channel 4. But anyway, getting back to the food Nazi. We got a guy upstairs named Matthew Bell. First of all, Matty, they call him. Matty, like a little kid. Hey, Matty. When somebody gets to be like 70 or 75 like he is, you think they call him Matt, like an adult. They call him Matty, like a little kid. Maybe because it's a sports station. Everybody has to have a nickname. Like Shappy. Remember when Steve Shapiro was on? Hey, Shappy, how you doing, Shappy? Hey, Gold, how you doing, Gold? I mean, it's just the concept of it just gives me the willies thinking about it. Gives me the creeps. That slap you on the butt kind of like, hey, buddy, yeah, let's go take a shower with the guys kind of mentality. So anyway, little Matty, who's about 2 feet tall and wears children's clothing because it's cheaper that way in the store. Yeah, he buys the boy sizes because it's a lot cheaper and he's a cheap prick. But at any rate, he's also a little dictator, come to find out, because now that they're all up there on the third floor, we have nice people like our friend from Atlantic City Subs. What's his name? Nice Jewish boy. Scott Perlman, that's right. Who bring free food for the troops up there. But now anybody that tries to see that, we've got like a maze up there. We have one door up there that doesn't work. Well, I think that's the door that the naked picture is hidden behind, the ones of Greg and the muskrat. And I think that might be in one of them too. I'm not sure. Oh, in several? Yeah, but he gives good face. He's the face man for the sales department. But at any rate, so the deal is, Maddie is telling people, oh, you can't take food right into the studio there. You've got to go around. You can't take it over on this side of the building. And evidently, there's been an epidemic of this going on since they all moved up there. Now we got another little dictator. And the only reason that we have people like the water Nazi and the food Nazi and the promotions Nazi is because the empowerer of all of this is our general manager. He brings in little tiny silly people, and he gives them power to, as long as they're his buddies, as long as they're part of the Greg Reed family, they can do whatever the hell they want. So I'm really disappointed, especially a good guy like Scott Perlman. I'll guarantee if wait till we move up there on the third floor, if and when that ever happens, by the way. Then you're going to see the fur fly. All this crap about, and you can't have food in the studio, and you can't come through this way, and you can't smoke your cigar. Yeah, right. All I can say on the first day of my 24th year in this market is blow it out your rectum, okay, and don't waste any time doing it. All these little tiny people, in fact, they're perfect for South Florida, like little condo commandos, just living their life so they can boss everybody else around. Because they know it's not an inferiority complex. They are inferior. See, there's a big difference. If you have a complex, it means you think you're inferior, but maybe you're not. But in their case, it's not a complex. They are definitely inferior. In fact, if you just look at them, the two Nazis we got up there, and have you ever seen them together, by the way? I think it's the same person, and one is in drag. They both have kind of that scratchy, raspy voice from smoking too many faggots over the years. Okay.
This station stands for nothing.
Oh! Y2K, Windows die, and all computers go outside. Y2K, Windows die, everybody's gonna die. People will panic with murder and havoc. I read that in a magazine, in a comic book store. If you believe it's the end of the world and see the market crashing again, or the millennium's a long time, or something away.
10:15 at 560 WQAM on a great Tuesday, the beginning of year number 24. Yeah, and I noticed this morning I scoured through the newspapers, every section, the obituaries, the comic section, everything. Did I see one word about yesterday's big 23rd anniversary show?
No.
One word acknowledging my existence here for 23 years?
No.
Nothing. I mean, granted, it's like an odd number, and I'm sure that in 2 years, if we make it that far to number 25, remember how it was on the 20? And, of course, all this stuff yesterday, George orchestrated all of this anyway. None of this happened by accident, which makes it kind of like, less than meaningful. Like you probably even called Bob and Cheryl. Oh, God. But it sure was nice to see them together again, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. After all this time, and they're still together.
Yes.
That was kind of heartwarming to see.
But anyway, getting back to Geldy.
I knew these purple balloons would come in good for something.
Oh! You're full of crap, Geldy. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, man. Only here could he not only say the things that he says, but only here could he be on the air. That's the thing that really gets... In fact, that was the first thing when I came in the car this morning, turned on the radio, and then, of course, I just at that point was ready to shove the CD into the player, and I heard that voice, and I thought to myself, only here, only on this station, and only in this market could that voice pretend to be a broadcaster.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think you do. And also, I don't want to dwell on this place. I don't want to start with a negative because, you know me, I'm always Mr. Uplifting, Mr. Happiness. But the thing with Greg Reed, the more I think about this man, our general manager, it's not that he's got a bad personality. He doesn't have any personality. That's the problem. You know what I'm talking about? Am I right? He has no personality, none. In other words, some people, they have what do they call it, personality disorder, whatever that is. And they send them to some kind of like a school where you learn to have a different kind of a personality, like more pleasant, more assertive, more something. But you can't complain about Greg's personality because generally he doesn't have any. He's like part of the woodwork. That's why he's got like the frumpy suit all the time and his hair is like disheveled and like, because it fits in perfectly. He's like the character that, what's his name was playing in that movie, The Lonely Guy. Either one of the characters, Steve Martin or the loser. What's his name? Charles Grodin, yeah. Boy, that, and I can't stand Charles Grodin, but he was great in that movie because it was him. That was him. The best scene in that movie was when he came over to Steve Martin's apartment, and Steve pops the thing in the VCR, and they're watching a video of tropical fish swimming in a tank. They're not watching tropical fish in a real tank. They're watching a video of tropical fish swimming in a tank, and actually enjoying it. Which is kind of like listening to the sports shows on this station. But anyway, so I have a letter and a fax. Let's start with the fax. Let's start with the good stuff, okay? To show that I'm not all full of crap all the time. Oh! Nice fax, by the way. Excellent.
Makes me feel almost worthwhile.
It says, as a longtime listener who's never called your show, I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude for your points of view throughout the years. On the day of your birthday, I left for a 16-day trip to Italy that was perhaps the greatest single thing I've ever done in my 45 years of life. How do you like that?
Oh!
Everything you talk to us, your audience, about whenever you return from Europe is right on the mark. It's only when you leave this place and actually spend a significant amount of time in a place like Rome or Florence, Firenze, you actually realize what a dreadful society we live in. Until you do that, you never know how the rest of the world lives. It is as if somehow the richest, most powerful nation on earth took a wrong turn back there somewhere. Bigger and faster is not necessarily better. I think what he also wants to say is more strip shopping centers ain't necessarily better. Relinquishing the trappings of organized tours and schedules, we set out on a loose but organized car trip that took us from the lake regions of Bellagio and Como all the way down to Amalfi. Everywhere we went, the Italians were friendly, communicative, and I did brush up on language for 3 months prior to leaving, he says, and always eager to serve and please. All the cities are alive with urbanites who play as hard as they work. They walk everywhere and take time to live a life. We don't know how to do that in this country. Your audience needs to know that what you tell us about these places is the truth. It's the Imus, and not just blue sky rhetoric from a talk show host who likes to travel. In a time of political hysteria, meaningless visits by a world leader from the Dark Ages, a sensational, tasteless, trigger-happy media, and all the sexual repression of an evening with Duke and Nancy and George and Barbara, thank God for you and your Italy. How do you like that? Keep up the excellent work, etc., and so on. Arrivederci, my bags are packed, he says. And then he says, P.S., thanks for the Templeton tip. Bought Farewell to God on Amazon.com. Was delivered in just 2 days. Read it in 1 day. Okay, well, I'm glad you read the book, but like I said yesterday, and it kind of took Georgia back. He almost fell out of the chair when I said it. You don't need to be buying Farewell to God by Charles Templeton unless you're something that kind of sounds like Templeton, and that is a simpleton. I'm not saying this guy is, but seriously. If you just use your common sense. See, most people, again, suffer from that inferiority complex. But, I mean, even if you're a moron, and I know that many of you are, even if you're just a moron and didn't have much of an education, you still have common sense. You still have basic instincts. You still have a basic ability to understand, to perceive what's going on around you. So the idea that you have to read some kind of a cockamamie book to dispel, to argue with, to just, with a motion of the hand, push away all these ridiculous arguments and all this nonsensical, superstitious bullcrap. It's sad. You don't have to read a book. Why did I waste my time promoting the book? I guess you have to get to step one before you get to the ultimate final step, whatever that is, like having a brain that's working for yourself. So that brings me to the letter I get this morning. The package. Not just a letter, I got the package. As Mandich would say, the complete package.
All right.
Right. And I open it up and there's a book inside. This is every time I get one of these, I say it's the best I ever got. This today, it is the best. They just keep getting better and better and better. The book is written by Grant Jeffrey, and it's called The Signature of God, Astonishing Biblical Discovery.
Oh, my God.
Right. Woo! Heavy duty. And there it is. Look at that in Hebrew on the top there on the cover, Yeshua. As in, are you sure? Are you sure? Hey, by the way, happy Purim, in case I didn't. So I'll get back to the book in a second in this great letter. So that means we're going to have Homentashe now? See, you have no room for error. I can't do that today. I can't do my Pastry Lane Bakery friends because yesterday, unfortunately, if they would have just given me the cheese and that little thing of wine, which I gave to you and whatever, some olive oil, that would be nice. I would appreciate that. But they come in here with that big cake, which, of course, I didn't eat much of, but nevertheless, do I need cake?
No.
Do I need to be eating sugar?
No.
Did I need all those biscottis, whatever that thing was last night?
No.
Like a hole in the head, like a Lochencup? Of course not.
No.
So they try to be nice, and I know you don't want to hear any of this because you've heard me scream about it for years, but it's true. People kill you with kindness. That would be like going over to Al Goldstein's house and taking a gift package with, Fruit Loops or, some kind, the big industrial-sized box of Rice Krispies. Or no, something with sugar on it. Frosted Flakes. By the way, every time I hear his voice, it goes to show you that there are such a thing as miracles, Virginia. He's still alive. Yeah. I mean, Al, instead of telling me about renting another apartment in Amsterdam, why don't you just will it to me? That when you croak in a couple of days after that next spoonful of fish food, after you take your last like that you just leave it to me. I'll take over the lease. although it's a little on the small side, and the apartment too. So anyway, here's this letter with the book, the signature of God. And as soon as I look at the book, I'm thinking, oh boy, this has got to be another one of those ridiculous, those silly, let's try to prove that it's all for real books. I'm thinking that.
Uh-huh.
And then I start reading the letter, assuming that maybe it's not. Neil, I have always appreciated your skill on the radio and wish you have continued success in this market. I get a charge out of your dialogue regarding Christians' belief in fairy tales and ordered the book you recommended, Farewell to God. Now, at that point, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe there's something in this book that he has sent me. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's similar. But he goes on to say, I recommend the enclosed book, which deals with many of the objections you've mentioned on the air, and a second book that will follow entitled Evidence That Demands a Verdict, written by Josh McDowell, with 2 E's, dealing with many more. As a favor to one of your fans, please read these books at your leisure and comment if you see fit.
No.
The reason, and please don't send the second one if you haven't already sent it. So give it to some schlepper out there. Give it to somebody who's freezing to death up north. They can use it for on the bonfire. The reason I took the time to write you is because of the compassion I have for you. It gets so tired. It gets so old, making us an offer that we can't refuse, whether we want to or not. The reason I took time to write you is because of the compassion I have for you. I know you may not appreciate that.
No.
But I have simply recognized something in you that I once found in myself. It is quite obvious to me now, lack of hope, loneliness, and lack of purpose in life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in fact, I was going to watch Tropical Fish with Steve Martin tonight before I got this book. As I watched your television program, I hurt for you. Well, I got news for you, sir. I used to hurt for myself, too, every time I watched that thing on Whammy. They couldn't get the audio on. Everything was all chopped up. It was a piece of dreck. It hurt. It pained me terribly, but I don't think that's what he's talking about. As I watched your television program, I hurt for you. Please accept this, EXCEP. Please accept this as a hug from a friend and not as an attack. The most significant proof of the God's existence is the purpose now in my life and many others. Truly a fan, Matthew, and I won't use his last name. In Boca, no less. Moved from Deerfield to Boca. He's moving up in the world. Oh, you know, I get weak in the knees at this stuff. And this is the reason that as long as I have one breath, even enough to blow up this balloon again, that I'm not going to stop talking about this stuff, because it just cannot go on. There's got to be one voice in the world somewhere, if it's only mine, one voice that says, you know, this is a pile of bullcrap. Like over in the Far East now, the Hindus and the Christians are killing each other now in Indonesia, because the Christians were trying to make them an offer they couldn't refuse, and the Hindus are saying, get the hell out of here. We got our own fairy tales, and you're interfering with our business. You're not good for business. And so they're killing each other. And when I was in Europe, on the BBC, I saw a documentary about the lunatics in Sri Lanka. You know that little turd that's hanging down there from India that used to be called Ceylon? I've always told you they're barbarians, so let them lose their souls. They've got a 2 or 3-year-old kid who is the reincarnation of their former leader, the Grand Poopah, whatever the hell he was, who died 6 years ago. And they've convinced themselves that this 2-year-old kid, he's got the same mannerisms, he carries a purple bag, whatever it is, you know. He's the new Grand Poopah. He's the reincarnation. And they're all following him around, and the news media follow him around every time he farts. Oh, that's it. That's definitely him. Only the Grand Poopah could cut one like that. We're talking crazy people.
All right. Well, come on over here and don't be shy. Got something for you, it's a little surprise. You may not know where my hands go, but I'm gonna stick one right under your nose and make you smell my finger. Well, sometimes they smell like spaghetti-o, or the cheese that grows on my toes. In between my legs is where they could go, and I'll stick them right there under your nose to have you smell my finger. Oh, baby. Come on, give it a whiff. I'm the one you can trust. Check out that fingernail card. Well, you don't know what it could say, but it smells okay to me. the end, you know why. Cause I'm addicted to nothing. Juice from the arm hidden under my throat. Hey, if my business where they may go, you must respect my finger.
10:32 at 560 WQAM. Didn't want to step on it last, whatever he was doing there. So anyway, this book, maybe this is Matthew Bell. Maybe he just signed a different last name on his letter. Or maybe it's Matty the food Nazi. So you assholes upstairs, why don't you just leave everybody alone, okay, so they can come in, do their job, have a good time, enjoy themselves, go through the day without feeling like persecuted and put upon? How about that? I know it's a radical idea. How about giving it a try, okay? And just leaving everybody alone and stop trying to make everybody understand how goddamn important you are, you little tiny Lilliputian assholes up there on the third floor. I got news for you. Once we get up there, like I said, if it ever happens, things are going to change big time up there then. Big time. Are we going to pay any attention to those little dictators up there?
No.
No, and they better stay the hell out of our studio, too. Did we ever get the lock on that door up there? No. Well, you know what we're going to have to do, I guess? I'm going to have to pay a locksmith and get our own lock on that door once we get up there. And I will. Because, see, what they have in mind, they really want to use our studios. Are you telling me that they have not built a production facility up there? Is that what you're saying?
What kind of a production facility are you talking
like
about?
Like a real one.
They have one that they're using.
Yeah.
They have a room.
Yeah.
A room.
Well, good. If they have a room
in it.
Hey, that's it. If they got a room with equipment in it, that's their production studio, okay? But out of our joint up there, okay? Stay the hell out. So anyway, I'm looking in this book that Matthew has sent me. And it's interesting. He's got a spiritual name like Matthew. He's probably got a brother named Luke. Halpin. The signature of God. So I open up just haphazardly, and he's highlighted. He's been kind enough to highlight to me some of the greatest Bubba Mice in here to make sure that I don't miss the good stuff. And I thought I would share with you this one section here. It's very short, maybe a minute. And you'll find just how profound these great revelations are that prove the existence of God. Or is it,
oh, God,
whatever the hell it is. You know, that before I went on vacation, the guy that called, it was a couple days before I went away, and the guy that called about the energy, I think he was talking about Linda energy. Well, and this guy was serious about, well, when you die, you know, what happens to the energy? Well, the energy from any living thing is only there because it's a living thing. Once it's dead, there's no more energy. Oh, my God, what a concept.
What happens to the campfire after you pee on it?
It gets wet. And it starts smelling pretty bad, too, all depending on what you were drinking. And are you sure it was pee? But at any rate, no, this guy was unbelievable. The energy, where does it go? Where does it, that's like asking after you cut a big one, where does it go? I'm surprised that people like him aren't spending hours and hours every day worrying. No, seriously, where does it go? Like when I let the air out of the helium out of the balloons when I opened them up. Where did it go? Oh, let's get out our telescopes and let's get all the great minds of mankind together and worry about where did the energy go? Wasn't that a song by the Supremes? Where did Linda energy go? You die, you're dead. Oh, no! Yeah, Gene Siskel, he's not reviewing movies in heaven anymore. He's dead. Like your dog. I mean, don't you people love your animals? Don't you love your dog, your pussy cat, whatever you got, your canary? Now, nobody, maybe a handful of really idiotic people, but even silly people don't believe there's a doggy heaven. What happens to the energy in the dog when it dies? What happens to the energy in that parakeet or cockatoo after it stops breathing, after all of its organs stop functioning and dry up and wither away and after it croaks? Where does the energy go? Anybody got an answer for that?
No.
So if you're going to believe in a people heaven, there has got to be a doggy heaven, a snake heaven, a mink heaven, a muskrat heaven, a coon heaven. You think there's a coon heaven?
No.
Oh. Anyway, so wait till you hear this good stuff. And I want you to hear how profound this is. That's why all these people who love to argue with me about this stuff, they don't even have the balls to do it anymore. Did you talk religion, by the way, last week? You better not have.
One day, yeah.
Oh, boy. See,
Sorry.
He just won't stop. You goddamn...
The power of Christ compels me.
Damn it! Anyway, it says, knowledge and travel shall increase in last days. Wait till you hear how profound this is. If this doesn't convert you immediately to become a real frum believer, If you don't rush out and buy at least 2 dozen Hamantaschen right now just to celebrate Purim, because you got to become a Jew before you become a Christian. You have to take it by increments. 25 centuries ago, the book of Daniel predicted that there would be an explosion of knowledge and a huge increase in travel in the last days. They're always talking about the last days. Daniel wrote these words, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." Daniel 12:4. Knowledge shall be increased. And, of course, when you got the intelligence that those people have, predicting that knowledge should be increased, it's not really like going out on a limb. Throughout thousands of years of history, the level of knowledge only increased incrementally. In some generations, the level of general knowledge actually decreased. Yet in the last century and a half, there has been an explosion of knowledge beyond anything ever experienced in human history. There are more scientists alive today than have lived in all of the rest of history. Of course, there are also more people alive today, like 5 billion. Recently, it was calculated that the total level of human knowledge is growing so quickly that it literally doubles every 24 months. They must have not counted the religious people in that category. This is staggering in light of Daniel's inspired prediction from the ancient past. In addition, Daniel stated that a characteristic of the last days would be an awesome increase in mobility, as many shall run to and fro. I guess they didn't have cars and airplanes and trains back then, huh? An increase in mobility. The speed of transportation is also...
Oh, God.
No. There you go. Exploded in the last century. Throughout history, most people have never traveled faster than a galloping horse. Today, men traveled at over 18,000 miles an hour on the U.S. Space Shuttle Discovery. In addition, while most people in past centuries never traveled more than 20 miles from the place they were born, especially if they lived in Dade County, millions of people now travel the globe as part of their normal course of daily business or annual vacation. So Daniel predicted this back in Daniel 12:4. That as we get to the end days. See, this works both ways. This proves that we are in the end days, and it proved that it was prophetic. Sounds like pathetic. There's absolutely nothing in that quote whatsoever that is prescient, that is extraordinary, that has anything to do with anything today. And, of course, the fact that we discovered electricity and invented the automobile and the airplane and the train and all of the other modern computers, don't confuse them because that's science. Don't confuse people like Matthew with the facts. Because it was so written, okay, by Daniel, who didn't realize that it was no miracle, and the lions just like to eat trafe. They didn't like Jews. 21 before 11. Of course, if he would have just seen the handwriting on the wall, he would have known the Goyim were going to take over the world and would have done something about it.
Go ahead. Hanson, 1997. 1998. Flash forward to Hanson, the year 2000.
You want fries with that?
That's ridiculous.
By the way, did you see she had a heart attack and they stuck a pacemaker in there, Phyllis Diller? Did you see that? Phyllis Diller, that's we're going to have to keep the office watch going. Phyllis Diller, we got, how's Joe DiMaggio doing, by the way? Anybody heard of that? Okay, good. Okay, we're going to compile a list of all the questions because these people that have all the answers, you know, like the guy who was very upset over the fact he couldn't get me to care about things that I couldn't possibly know. That same guy that I'm referring to who was talking about all the energy and where does it go when you die. Well, yeah, but don't you wonder about these things? Where did we come from? And I said, no, I really don't. I don't know, and I don't care. It's of no interest to me because I'm never going to know the answer. What difference does it make? But the notion, the concept that we can have answers to these questions, just stop and think of all the things that have happened in our lifetime. Some of us as old as I am, I mean old. You know, like who killed Kennedy? Do we really know for sure?
No.
Do we really know for sure, by the way, who killed Lincoln?
No.
No, there's still a lot of doubts about that. Was it really John Wilkes in the booth?
No.
We don't know. Maybe he was just a bad actor. Who killed Cock Robin? Huh? Who killed, and of course it's a good thing that we don't know the answer to some of these because otherwise MSNBC would be out of business. Who killed John Bonet? Do we know?
No.
We have some ideas, but do we have the facts?
No.
Do we have like an indictment yet?
No.
No. Stop and think about it. Do we know for sure about Sirhan and RFK?
No.
And JFK, like I said?
No.
And Martin Luther King Jr.?
No.
Almost said it. Do we know that?
No.
No. In fact, James Earl Ray, he croaked here just a couple of months ago. And he still denied it right to his deathbed. And they got all kinds of theories about that. In fact, they think it was either J. Edgar Hoover or the dog done it, one or the other. So stop and ask yourself that question. Look at all of the puzzles, all of the mysteries just in your own lifetime that we don't have the answer for. In fact, will we ever know really who killed John Kennedy?
No.
No. Of course not. Now that happened 36 years ago. And so many of you people are like basing your entire existence and brainwashing your children with fairy tales about things that allegedly happened thousands of years ago. Things that happened in the last couple of days. Did the president really rape that broad 21 years ago? Do we know?
No.
We have a pretty good idea. But do we know?
No.
Will we ever really know for sure?
No.
Did he whip it out in front of Paula? Do we know?
No.
We have an idea. Maybe that's how her nose grew like that. Monkey see, monkey around, something like that. I mean, these are all just common sense. Like I said, you don't need some goddamn religion. You don't need some organization. You need a little bit of common sense. And the only reason I bring this up again for the 10-minute time is because of this goddamn book here that I get in the mail with this syrupy letter this morning. As I watched your television program, I heard for you. Why is it that almost all the Farbissina Goyim, they're all the same? They're all so concerned. They want to help you. Yeah, I don't have a problem, okay? The only problem I got is people like this and working for a butt plug upstairs. That's the only problem I got. And I need to get my oil changed in both my cars. Those are my biggest problems, okay? Plus they rash on my neck. That's it. Which is going to take another 6 months. Maybe it'll go away, maybe not. But I don't need the doctor. He told me. I don't need him. Please accept this as a hug from a friend, not as an attack. And when I look at all the misspellings in here, like accept, E-X-C-E-P-T, as opposed to A-C-C-E-P-T, I realize I'm not dealing with a guy who's extraordinarily bright. The most significant proof of the God's existence is the purpose now in my life and many others. This guy must be an AA guy. Either GA or AA. Am I right? With the 13 steps and the 200 steps. And don't fall down, by the way, because when you drink too much, you fall down the steps, even if there's only 3 or 4 of them. Why do they always do? Quite obvious to me now. He recognizes in me what he once found in himself. The lack of hope. Loneliness. I'm lonely because I sit there with an empty phone every day like this, right now. Not one call on the board. We had a smattering, but they figure I'm on a roll. Why the hell bother me? And they were right. And a lack of purpose in life. Are you following that list that he's got? And he's right.
All of these things
I suffer from right now. Lack of hope, loneliness, and lack of purpose in life. If only somebody could bring me the real word. I'm just sitting here thirsting, dying, like a man who needs to have his thirst quenched. That's right, dying for a big bottle of Soleil water. Waiting for the answers from our good Christian friends out there in Radioland who can save me, who can bring me the answers to these unknown questions that only the true believers can understand, because it's mysterious and we know he works in mysterious ways. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. As we wait to see a response here, I am lonely. I'm very lonely every day of my life. George sat here, did 6 shows every day. Joe Costello told me this morning there was never one open line. It was like doing buyer with him when George was doing the show. They like George. They hate me like poison. They listen to me, but they hate me like poison because I say these terrible, all of these things. That's right. Unlike George, of course, who's like, doing the good time hour. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
I just want to tell you, how come there were over 500 witnesses that saw Jesus Christ alive after he was supposedly crucified?
Yeah. 500?
Yeah, 500 witnesses.
Let's talk to one of them.
Yeah. Have you had any conversations with any of them?
With any of them? Well, it's in the Bible.
How it's in the Bible. Who wrote the Bible? And when was the Bible written? Was it written while Jesus was still alive?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's the end of that discussion. See, don't confuse people like this with the facts. When somebody writes something years and years after it allegedly happened, it would be like if there was no record, that we didn't have the Zapruder film, we had no film, no nothing. We didn't have any photography. We had no actual physical record of the assassination of President Kennedy. And then 30-some, 60-some, 90-some, depending on whom you believe, probably 90 years later, somebody came along and tried to reconstruct it based on hearsay, gossip, the ramblings of all sorts of people. In fact, the people in Dealey Plaza when Kennedy was assassinated, if you talk to like 10 of them, you get 10 different stories on where they thought the shots came from. Was it the grassy knoll? Was it the Texas Book Depository? Was it the office building across the street? Did anybody really know for sure? No.
The early church wouldn't have made that stuff up about Jesus.
No, because, as I've told you before, churches, people who invent religions don't do it in a self-serving way. You have to understand that. When men invent religions, they don't make man superior to women. They don't talk about slaves. When white people invent religions, they don't make black people subservient.
What would they have to gain?
Right, exactly. I heard that 45,000 people saw Jesus at McDonald's yesterday. Prove I'm wrong. Batavia, New York, Main Street, McDonald's. Jesus, 57,000 people. 128,000 people. Prove I'm wrong, goddammit. Come on, I'm waiting. Here's a mobile in Pompano. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Can you play Butterfly Kisses?
Yeah, right. Play this. Go play with yourself. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
You the man.
Yeah.
Neil, with religion, with Christianity, I'm a Christian. You can either choose it. You can either choose it
or lose it. Yeah.
Or you don't have to choose it.
What does that mean? Choose it. What does that mean?
You can choose to have faith.
Like the cow does with his cud, he choose it.
Either you have faith or you don't have faith, Neil.
Faith in what?
Faith in Christ and the way He moves your life.
The way He moves your life?
Absolutely.
Because somebody made up a story like this and therefore you believe it and it has an impact on your life. You must have a very weak life.
No, Neil, it's
you
not.
You must be like an emotional weakling.
Neil, it's not necessarily whether you believe, like you said earlier, all these writings centuries ago were handed down. Absolutely, no question about it, that the words have changed slightly, if not more than slightly.
It's not a question of whether the words changed or not during the thousands of reinterpretations or translations, but it's a question of who the people were that wrote it and what their motivations were.
Well, I don't think their motivations were anything but positive. I mean, you could interpret it any number of ways, just like you can interpret a television show one way or another, or your radio show.
Yeah.
Your radio show is humorous. Other people listening.
Is that why their God kept telling them to kill all their enemies? Is that why because they didn't have any selfish motives?
Doggone, you're good. No, that's not really the point.
Well, what is the point? The point is that it's real easy to sit back and just pretend that you really believe something that you know you don't. You know you don't believe any of that crap.
No,
why don't you, for once in your life, sir, I'm giving you a golden opportunity of a lifetime to stand up as a thinking, living, and breathing person and say, I know that it's a bunch of crap, but I just can't say that because it's not the American effing way. Come on, say it.
Okay, Neil, the reason...
I want you to say it's a bunch of crap and you know it.
The reason people...
You do know it, sir. Do you know it's a bunch of crap?
Neil,
come on.
Neil, the reason...
Say it. Say it.
The reason
you're saying that... You just refuse to do it because you don't want to step out of line.
No, it's
pretend there's nobody listening because there probably is anyway. It's just you and me, okay?
As far as all the killings and stuff go that you keep pounding on, as far as that goes, that is, and I know you've heard it before.
You're wandering, sir. You're wandering.
No,
you're
just
evading.
Please bear me out.
You're dancing. You're doing what Daniel was talking about. You're doing that highly mobile routine of yours right now. You're hopping from one spot to another.
Please
you're
bear
doing
me
a
out.
Green-apple quick step.
Please bear me out.
Yeah.
If it was a perfect world, if people were perfect.
Well, why isn't it a perfect world?
If you let me finish, I'll tell you. If it was a perfect world, then there would be no killings. Then Moses wouldn't have...
Well, sir, why didn't God create a perfect world?
Well, because we are human beings. We're not Christ.
Why didn't He create human beings perfect? Why did He need to come up with this ridiculous fairy tale that most people in the world today still never heard about, by the way? Why did He have to do that when He could have invented paradise? Why did He do that?
Neil, He created Christ who is
perfect.
Sir,
will you answer my question?
I'm trying to.
But you're not. You're not responding. You're dancing again. You're dancing. Even Fred Astaire is embarrassed.
Yeah,
why didn't He create a perfect world?
He did create a perfect world.
And what happened?
It's just inhabited by imperfect people, which Christ was sent down to get everybody's mind right.
Sir, you're not. You're a mental pygmy, sir. If God created man perfect, how could He be imperfect today?
He didn't create man.
If you have the most perfect little midget that was ever born, okay, he's always going to be perfect. He can't someday be imperfect.
You're missing the
because
point.
You don't understand the meaning of perfection. You don't understand what the word perfect means. Perfect means no flaws, no imperfections, no weakness, no faults. No.
You're absolutely correct, sir.
Thank you. 2 open lines in Dade, 2 in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Trying to get saved here today. We want to hear it. We want to hear the real truth. We want to hear this list of all these things that have happened in our lifetime that we never will know the answer to, or probably will never know. At least not for sure. The list must be as long as your goddamn schlong, okay? At least.
Father, would you help an old overboard? I'm a captain.
No. When I was little, I was a skinny little punk. They wouldn't let me play basketball. The gangs used to push me around. Even the hoes beat the crap out of me. But then I started drinking milk. And I kept on drinking. And I kept on drinking. And I kept on drinking. And now I'm a 6'5", 285-pound angry motherfucker. And I'm going to put some serious hurt on everybody who ever dissed me. You with me, you go home in a body bag, because I'm a natural-born, milk-drinking killer.
Milk. It does a body good.
It's 11:02 at 560 WQAM, the Hank Goldberg Show at 2. We got 6 o'clock Boog Shambi, who's bigger than life itself. We got Ed Kaplan at 10. Tomorrow night we got the Panthers in Colorado, the Avalanche. Boy, kind of a meager schedule for the month of March. Pretty weak. Avalanche with Theo Ferry tomorrow night at the Mac Arena. Here's a mobile in Fort Myers. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Great. I just got a couple of things to add to this conversation. First of all, what happens to the energy of a candle when you put it out?
Oh, it goes in the wind. Don't you remember that song?
And how many people have seen Elvis since he died?
All the time.
And
street cars everywhere.
That's it. I think he's winning now.
Pizza joints.
Yeah, I think he's the real winner. More people see him.
Yeah.
That's it. And the third thing is, you need to pull the wool back over your eyes. They don't want you to have that wool off your eyes.
You do realize, sir, that we
have
a whole cult of people in this country who believe that Elvis is still alive and spend time schlepping up there to Graceland. The day months ago that I talked here about Graceland and all the idiots that go up there wasting their money to worship a dead man who is nothing but a hillbilly rock singer. I mean, this is that's got to tell you what cults are all about. All religions are cults. Have a great day, sir.
Okay.
And God bless you.
Bye.
We have an open line. There's an intelligent man in Fort Myers. How do you like that? They can't pull the woolly over his eyes. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Yeah, we're waiting on you. We're waiting to be converted here today. All of us heathens, especially on Purim. What a great day this would be to be converted, to get the real word, to get the truth, the real story, the emes. And every single one of these people that called today and last year and 21 years ago and 22 years ago, oh my God, I bet you those are Hamantashen. Are those Hamantashen? Oh, thank you so much. They're from David Halberstam. There's a good Jewish boy.
Oi!
David Halberstam. Now, those look like, I hate to say this, okay, because I know David's got very good taste. Our close personal friend David would never send us those little Goyisher. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Hardaway left wing. Left sideline, Marley, 3-point. Oh! Oh! He hit it!
Yeah, they are. They're the little triangles, the real hard ones, the Goyisher.
Real nice box full of goodies, by the way, with chocolates and some fruit and stuff like that.
Which I can't eat.
You can't have any.
But you can have all of it. No, I don't want any. I'm still suffering from last night eating all those biscottis. And we got so many fat people in this building. I know they were trying to be nice to me, but it's not an excuse for bringing in a big. You should have seen the size of that cake. There are people listening to me right now who live in apartments smaller than the cake they brought in here yesterday. And then, a nice Italian basket of goodies that had some cheeses in it. That was very nice. And, some other stuff. And then a big thing of biscotti loaded with sugar. And I thought last night, well, I'll just eat one or two. They're small. They're like little small ones.
There's another box here for Hank.
Another box of what? Of Hamantashen for Hank? Do not give them to him. Don't give Hank any Hamantashen, please. Okay, he's lost 30 pounds. He's looking good. The man is diabetic. In fact, I'm going to forget about Boog because he looks to me to be beyond hope and he don't seem to care. But Hank got a couple of real good scares. Once you get a good scare, like a stroke, you get high blood pressure, you find you're diabetic. Once you get a real good scare, you go, and then maybe you might be able to do a little bit better.
I'll give the box to Clarence. He could put on a few pounds.
There you go. We have an open line at Dade 1 in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Another call from Fort Myers. Hello.
Good afternoon, Neil.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
I just wanted to say I really enjoy these topics when you get off on religion, and the letter about the guy saying that you were hopeless, you had no hope.
This guy, he knows me inside and out. This guy wouldn't know me if I walked into his house right now and spit in his face. He wouldn't have any idea who I was. But he's an expert. I have a lack of hope. I'm lonely, a lack of purpose in life. He hurts for me, and in the meantime, I'm doing pretty damn good. I'm not, last time I checked, I don't have any major problems at the moment.
I guess that's my only point. It's really the people without hope that get drawn into all this thing just because it makes them feel good.
Exactly. It makes them feel better that we should be as weak as they are.
Right. To be created in the image of God and so forth. And then he went on this thing of perfection, or at least maybe that was the next caller. And, man's like the most ridiculously imperfect thing on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 dogs here, Labrador Retrievers, and I'm telling you, Neil, they're
probably better than most people we know.
They're perfect. Both of them are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, congratulations on your 23 years on the air. We love you over here. We've only been getting you for a year. And me and all my Colombian buddies, man. We love
Okay.
you.
God bless you, sir. Okay, there's the anti-Colombian guy. Well, at least he makes a little bit of sense sometimes. Maybe when he goes to purgatory, he'll be in there with a bunch of Colombians. At least they got the good stuff. Okay, we got 2 open lines at day 2 in Broward. Pretty weak here this morning so far. 5670560. What's going on with this phone here? What just happened? Why is line 7 lit up?
Because you hit it twice.
No, I did not. 5670560 and pound 560 on the mobile 1 line. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Christina, and
Oh, I like your show, Christina.
What?
I don't understand what you're saying, but I do like your show.
Okay. I just wanted to share something with you.
Yes.
I'm 19 years old,
right?
And out of this whole world, the only thing that I've learned is that I have to learn things by myself. I can't listen to what anybody tells me or what I read, and I just have to find things out for myself. And the more that I do find out, the less I understand. But I just wanted to read you something. Throughout all the the bad things that do go on and everything, somehow I have like this blind faith, and I just want to read you something. And it says, even if our efforts of attention seem for years to be producing no result, one day a light that is in exact proportion to them will flood the soul. And that was written by Simone Weil. And to me, I just think that one day all this stuff that does happen will make sense. And I do have faith in that. So
faith in what?
Huh?
Faith in what?
I don't know. It's like I have this connection with God that I've created throughout these years, and when I do have faith, things do happen. When I do believe, but I do truly believe in that. I know I don't listen to anybody else, and just because they believe in it, I believe in it. But
Okay, Christina, I'll be watching your show this afternoon.
What are you talking about?
Have a great day.
You too.
See ya. What am I talking about? She's got a big hit. A big, fat, tooted hit.
I know that the Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
The following is a paid public service announcement from the International Rifle Association.
Let's face it, most of us will never be rich. Hell, we probably won't even be successful, and that's pretty damn depressing. But, as usual, with every problem, there is a solution. Hi, I'm Jim, and I'm here to tell you a little something about handguns. They scare the shit out of people and intimidate them into giving you whatever you want. That's right, handguns. Think about it. Need some cash? Rob a bank. Don't have enough money for beer? Pull up a convenience store. Take some chips and pretzels while you're at it. It's all free if you've got a handgun. Some son of a bitch cheating on your girlfriend? Kill him. It's a simple solution to life's complex problems. All you have to do is wait the 5 days for it, and happiness is just around the corner. Hell, if you don't want to wait the 5 days, who cares? Buy the damn thing off the street. Just buy a lot of handguns. It's a great alternative to working problems out and being considered a population controller. Yes, handguns. They just might make you famous.
That's the American fucking way.
Amen. 11:14 at 560 WQAM. 2 open lines in Broward, 400 in Dade, 6,000 in Palm Beach. We had every line lit up on the board when we went into that break. But hey, it's all spots radio, and they don't want to hang on. They have an urgent date with the Lord. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile 1 line. Here's Naples. Hello.
I hung on.
Yeah, you hung on and one other, and that's it.
I just this girl just like she made me crazy.
Who, Christina?
Was that the last one?
Yeah, Christina.
Oh, is she a regular?
No, but we don't have any regulars. We don't do names. So when somebody gives the name, it's kind of like
just, I mean, I like to do like
out.
serious anal with her.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, what was her story?
Maybe that was her story. Maybe she's into anal. Maybe she's anal retentive. Or maybe just banal, I think, would be a better word.
Or cabal.
Yeah.
She's a type of...
And she don't even know what time her show is on.
She has a show?
Okay, we have an open line at Broward, Altry, and Dade. 5670560 and pound 560. Yeah. Yeah, she got a show. Oh, Dios mío. Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Neil?
Okay.
I was just going to see if anybody can answer this question for me. There is such thing as God. I don't know if everybody was watching the news the other day. A lady was in the parking lot.
Well, not Christina.
Huh?
Not Christina.
No, I think it was her sister. Well, she was in the parking lot changing the diaper of a 2-year-old little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy came in and picked both of them up, raped the lady in front of the 2-year girl, and then dropped her back off in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would God send somebody to do something like that in a place where he's being worshipped?
Yeah. Or even not.
Yep.
Okay,
I want to see if somebody could call up and answer that.
Okay, well, hold your breath, and I'll let you know when to let it out in your breath, too. Okay, we're waiting for an answer on that. How come God permits all these horrible things? All these grotesque, disgusting, all the slaughter and all the massacre of innocent, decent people.
All of these things.
Come on, we're waiting for the answer for that. I know it won't take you more than 30 seconds to figure it out. One call left on the board. You're weak. You're really weak. You're just tragic. Every time we have this kind of a conversation, you just can't hold a candle in the wind or any place else, not even in your rectum. 5670560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Mobile in Weston, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your 23rd year. I hope you have another 23.
Yeah, I don't.
You're the best thing that has ever happened to talk radio in South Florida. We should go national.
Uh-huh.
When are you going to come up to Boca?
I'm not.
You're not at all.
Come up to Boca for what? For
have
a
lunch,
salami
have
sandwich?
dinner.
I'm not. Why do I want to go to Boca? If I want to see old Jews, I go to Sunrise. I live right there.
We got a lot of younger ones down here.
Well,
I wish you all the best, Neil.
okay, thank you
Have
so
a
much.
good one.
Okay, that was, like I said, nothing to say. 2 open lines today, 2 at Broward. Come on, let's get into the meat of the matter. You're the smart people. I'm the dummy. I'm the one that's supposed to be a real asshole. Let's hear it. Like that guy a few calls ago, and I challenged him. I gave him the opportunity about 20 minutes ago. I gave him the chance of a lifetime right in front of all of mankind to say, this is all a bunch of crap, and I know it, and I'm saying it only because I've been programmed to say that I really believe it, and I don't. If I had $1 for every person in America who pretends that they believe in all this horse crap that they've been brainwashed with, I wouldn't be sitting here right now wasting my time begging for phone calls. You know, I was just saying to George during the last commercial break, I said, just sitting here in the middle of the show, it made me understand why I love Europe so much. It's the one place left in the entire world that isn't dominated by religious fanaticism. I'm not saying there aren't a few here, like, and there you find them around and abouts. But throughout most of that continent, it doesn't exist. But you go to this continent, and of course, this country, we got every kind of religious nut and cults and right-wing maniacs, and you go south of the border, baby, and all you got is, the workings of the Pope. Overpopulation and starvation and misery and suffering, which is what the Catholic Church exports the best. Ignorance and starvation and suffering and overpopulation. And then you go to the Far East, and of course they all got their, they all got their pseudo-intellectual bullcrap religions where they're rubbing on their head, which is probably why they reproduce so much in China. Too much rubbing on the bald head. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Oh, Neil.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Maybe they can answer this for me. According to the Bible, there was Cain and Abel, right? Adam and Eve had
Okay, old question. Okay. We have an open line in Broward 2 and Dade. Can't we transcend the old tired stuff? Okay, they had sisters, which of course, because they were women, you didn't read too much about them, and it was incest, and incest is best, and that's why, just look at what goes on in Tennessee. You see the products of centuries of incest. You see, all these weird, or just go to Aintree. Just watch Deliverance again. That'll answer your question. Just look up at that kid with the banjo in the tree. 5670560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Kendall, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Enough of the God. Got a question for you, Neil. Hello.
I'm listening, sir.
Oh,
I'm listening for the moment.
I'm sorry. When you talk about your vacations, I'm always interested. What's your typical day like in Amsterdam?
Well, why are you interested? Are you writing a book?
No, I like to travel, and I like to find out what other people do.
Yeah.
You go to Amsterdam quite often.
Oh, I just hang around, read a good book.
Hot gay sex.
Hot gay sex. Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
a lot of drugs.
Do you go to museums? Or?
Yeah, I go to museums. I go to the Anne Frank house, see how Anne is feeling, if she's still up there in the attic.
I mean, do you do these things, the same things repeatedly?
Do I do the same people repeatedly?
No,
yeah.
the same.
I just go there and read the same book. I go to the same supermarket. I go to the same McDonald's, eat the same meal. I mean, you say you're interested in traveling, which I don't believe for a moment. I think what you are is a person with no life who's got an unnatural interest in mind. But when you would go to a place like a real city, why would you need my assistance? It's like people, like people that say, "Oh, I'm going to Vegas. Can you recommend a good restaurant?"
I don't need your assistance. I'm just kind of interested.
Why?
Well, to compare, for example, when I travel, I usually go to places that I haven't been before. I usually don't go repeatedly to the same place.
Yeah, sometimes I go to new places, sometimes I go to old places. It's like anything else.
I mean, you come back from your trips and you say you had a great time, but you never really say what you did or what your typical day's like.
Of course not. Of course not, because this isn't, an inside look at Neil Rogers' personal life. Of course it's not.
Okay, if that's the way you feel, that's okay.
That's the way anybody would feel. Do you want me to go over the details of every meal that I had? Would that be good? Of every bowel movement that I had? Good ones, bad ones, tough ones, easy ones?
No, I just like to get some...
How the heat was in the hotel in the Krasnopolsky. Would you like me to talk about that?
Well, I just like perhaps to get some ideas as to how other people do things when they're on trips.
Well, see, here's a very simple answer. People do, if they got any common sense, people do whatever they enjoy doing when they go on a trip.
Okay.
Now, if you want to go to museums, if that's your idea, if you like fine art, if you want to like culture, Van Gogh, if you like to go see the Diamond Factory, none of those things have any interest to me. But if that would be what you'd be interested in, have a great time. You'd have a wonderful time.
I understand that. I was just wondering what interests you when you travel, that's all.
Yeah.
I mean, I've listened for a long time.
Right.
I'm not trying to be a bad guy or anything like that.
Right.
I just, when you come back from your trips, I wonder what,
I just sit there on Dam Square and I watch the pigeons keep dropping their loads all over the place, and I think, boy, what a great thing it is to be here.
Well,
that's what I do all day.
Keep moving.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh my God! Took this guy like 4 minutes to basically say what most of them want to say.
I have no line.
Right. All the lines and data are open. 5670560 pound 560 on the mobile one line. Yeah, what kind of food do you like to eat? I mean, like, what kind of toilet paper? Oh, by the way, speaking of toilet paper, I meant to mention this before. The greatest spot in the history of TV. Forget about those Super Bowl ads. Greatest spot is the Bud Light spot with the two guys at the counter with the groceries. And they got a 6-pack of Bud Light, and they got a pack of toilet paper, and then they got a couple of other grocery items. And the kid holds out the one hand. He's got like a couple of crumpled dollar bills and a little change. And the cashier, she's chomping on her gum, looking like Madonna a little bit. And she said, not enough. And then they take a couple of the food items away, and they got like the Bud Light and the toilet paper and one or two other, not enough. And then they down to like the 6-pack of Bud Light and the toilet paper, and the music gets real loud and impending, like there's this tremendous decision to make, and they look at each other, and finally you see the bag boy grabbing the 6-pack of Bud Light, and he says, paper or plastic? It sounds just like Geldy, by the way, the bag boy. Good job for him, by the way. Paper or plastic? Paper! They both say simultaneously. And then she's chomping her gum, and as they're about to leave, she says, need the receipt, guys? And she's got the little receipt from the and they grab it out of her hand in the best Russian style. Because the Russians know how to take the tiniest paper thing. Although the old Spanish women, according to George, the old Cuban women, if you save it in the box, you can always recycle it. Right, Namacita?
Yes.
Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to know if you've seen any hockey overseas.
Have I seen any hockey overseas? No.
Yes.
No.
Well, I lived in Switzerland for a while, and I got to see some of the semi-pro teams there. The level of hockey is pretty good.
Yeah.
The style is a little bit different. There are not as many line changes.
Yeah.
But I just wondered, since you're in Holland, if you got to see any of that stuff.
I wouldn't. That would be the last thing I would ever think about, going to a hockey game in Europe. That would be the last thing that would ever cross my mind.
I understand. All righty.
I'll see you at the museum, though. Okay, we have an open line in Broward 2 and Dade, 5670560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Homestead. Hello.
Yeah, hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
On Cinemax tonight at 11:30, there is something that if you watch, I promise you, tomorrow you will be speaking about it on the air.
Yeah.
Indulge me in this one, Neil. Tonight, Cinemax at 11:30. It's a surprise.
It's a surprise?
Yes.
I'm going to stay up at 11:30 to see a surprise. Why don't you tell us what it is, because I'm not too big on surprises.
You watch your own show?
What is it?
You don't watch your show on Whammy?
My show hasn't been on Whammy for 2.5 months.
Oh, you kidding? That shows you how much I watch Whammy. But anyway,
what does that have to do with Cinemax? What are you talking about? What language are you speaking, sir?
Neil,
what does that have to do with? What is it?
Sir, trust me on this. 11:30 on Cinemax tonight. Just watch it. Give it a chance.
I will not be staying up till 11:30 tonight unless it's something extraordinary. And if you want to tell us what it is, which is your final opportunity, you can tell us. And if not, we'll move on.
Neil, do you have a recording?
Okay. We have an open line in Broward, 5670560. You know, these people, man, they all got a big mystery. They like the guy before. Well, what is it that you like to do? Where do you go? Which, the nostril do you blow through? Which hand do you wipe with when you take a good dump? You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Whatever happened to the fine art of verbal intercourse? Bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop. Maybe we got a TV guy. Maybe we can, or maybe I'll get the Herald out here during the break, although I think I threw away both the lifestyle sections because there was nothing in it about my anniversary. Maybe somebody can look in their TV book and tell us what's on Cinemax 11:30 tonight. That I'm not going to be wasting my time taping. Yeah, don't you watch your own show on Whammy? What? What show? What are you talking about, sir? Maybe he knows Christina. That's possible. Ooh.
You have no penis.
Well, I hate what they're doing on QAM. Putting that faggot back on again. I want what they had before. He's not my kind of guy. What the hell are they doing anyway? It's a manly sounding guy who's really gay. I want more Chris Moore. Cause his voice is real high. When I listen to the sports, a manly voice won't get my attention. But will really get me sipping the shorts. A squeaky high voice will give me an erection. Well, I hate what they're doing on QAM. Putting that faggot back on again. I'm going to miss hearing straight men with voices this high. Now I'll have to get deeper in that closet again so I can impress all the macho friends. Check out Chris Moore at night to help his hand aside. Yeah, there ain't nothing like having macho sports guys whose voices hasn't cracked since they were 12 years old. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, stand up real close to the radio and Chris and Don and get their voices on up there. Really licks my balls. Think about it. Yeah, that Crow, man. Well, he's smarter than my inbred brother. Yup.
Just remember one thing. If you can call me bro, I can call you schmo. It's 11:31 at 560 WQAM.
They're home of some of the most amazing voices in the history of radio.
I'm serious. We got to get that helium guy back in here again. Get us a big tank. Have something around to suck on. Here's a mobile in Margate. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
After that last caller, I kind of understand why you believe there's no God. But I beg to differ, and I'd like to...
Now, which one is this? Which one? Because I forget them so fast.
The guy with the Cinemax.
Oh, yeah. Like it's some gigantic... Even Robert Stack never saw an unsolved mystery like this one.
Did you look it up?
Yeah. No, I don't have the thing here. Somebody will have to call in.
It's not worth it. I've been with you like 16, 18 years. Congratulations on the anniversary.
Thank you.
And I'm going to try, since I'm on surveillance, killing time, to shoot a few salvation blows across your bow there. You were saying how you thought God would make the world perfect if he was going to make the world. But what would be the point of that? Why would you make a perfect
What do you mean, what would be the point of it? What would be the point of making it less than perfect? If you were a loving God, which the Jews and the Christians claim that he is, if he were a loving God, he wouldn't want any suffering. He'd want to make people live forever. He'd want to make sure that they were invulnerable like he is, so that they don't have any disease, so that they're, can't be injured by any of the elements or what have you. He would make it a perfect world. That just makes common sense if there were a perfect God.
Are you a merciful man? You watch hockey. There's not a perfect sport, is it?
Well, what does that have to do with God?
You take the pleasure in the game.
Yeah.
What if we're a jigsaw puzzle?
I didn't invent it. I didn't invent the way the game is played. I didn't invent violence.
But if you needed to invent a puzzle to amuse yourself, would you build one that was easily solved? Where all the pieces
so in other words,
played?
what you're saying is that God invented the universe because he was bored, and this is all just for his amusement? Just like the Bible tells man and has convinced man that the rest of the animal kingdom, God just invented for man's amusement.
Well, it It could be that we're just here solving the problems, making our choice. He didn't force
solving problems or making problems? I don't think man is solving any problems. Man is making problems. He's destroying the atmosphere. He's destroying the environment. Man is creating problems. He's killing each other. He's wiping out entire species of animals. Man isn't solving problems. He's creating them.
But you know, life...
In addition to which, why are there problems? Why did God have to create a place where there were problems?
Because if there's no problem...
Sir, let me say this to you. If God is perfect, God couldn't have a temper. It totally defies the definition of the word perfect or perfection. He couldn't be temperamental. But the God of the Bible is always getting pissed off. His wrath shall wax hot. He's not happy with the way things are going. He's going to have a flood. He's going to send down the locusts. He's pissed off. And yet this is the God who created it, and he knew in advance what man was going to do. So God is a sadist.
Well, I don't buy the Bible version of God.
So what version are we talking about? What standard have we got to go by? What bubble am I supposed to believe now?
Well, they look up and that's what they see. I look up and I see something else.
What do you mean you look up? Look up at what?
Sky? When I look at a head of lettuce and I try to figure out how something so perfect is there.
A head of lettuce is perfect? I don't know what store you've been shopping in lately.
But there's fruit of a billion varieties.
Well, there's perfect fruits and there's imperfect fruits. Believe me, I met both varieties.
Did you ever go to science class and they did one of those films where they show you where the world would be if there was just no zinc?
What does that have to do with anything?
No batteries.
Isn't zinc a natural element? Isn't it a part of nature? What has God got to do with zinc?
You notice everything's here we need. If you want to build anything you need is here.
Everything we need is here. That's why we're bringing back things from Mars and from outer space, because all the elements we need are here.
Well, that's put there for us.
How about the elements that we don't have enough of?
Such as?
Gold.
What good's gold?
Oh, sir, God bless you and have a wonderful life. Okay, Mr. Bubble Micey there, he's got his own little version of it. They feel compelled, even though they just aren't strong enough to say, this is all a pile of crap. You people are a bunch of silly people. They can't do that. So, I don't believe in their guy. That's the Bible. I believe in my own. I look up there. Up there at what? What do you see up there? Is it out there? Is it up there? Is it down there? Is it in there? Is it the Journey to the Center of the Earth with Pat Boone? Is it James Darren in the Time Tunnel? What is it? And you notice not one person has responded to what I said about all the great mysteries, not of ancient times, but of our time. All the questions that we'll never have a goddamn answer for. Did O.J. kill Ron and Nicole? Now, I know the overwhelming majority of us believe the answer is absolutely, positively.
Yes.
But will we ever know for sure?
No.
Things that have happened just in the last couple of years. Diana, that they made such a big timus about, who was much ado about nothing, that bitch. Princess Diana. Was there a conspiracy? Was it really a murder by the whatever the hell the KGB of Britain, whatever that thing is? Was it? Do we know?
No.
Will we ever know?
No.
No. You could make a list from here until all the way to Tallahassee of all of the things that have happened just in the last few years that we'll never ever have the answers for.
All of these things.
That's right. And yet here we got people who just are insistent on accepting the word because through the generations all these old wives' tales, these bubble mice, these fairy tales have been handed down. And a lot of good business people discovered, hey, this is a good way to control people and get a hold of their money too. Control their mind, to control their money, get all that power. Like Jan and Paul Crotch figured out, get all those TV stations, man, it's like a pyramid scam is what it is. It's not like a pyramid scam, it is a pyramid scam. Only this one's tax-free. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I've been listening to you for a long time, since you were with Zeta.
Yes?
Very good. Enjoy it. One thing I had to say was the Panther Arena stinks.
Yeah.
It's awful. But God bless you and see you.
Okay, excellent call. Uh-huh. We have an open line in Dade, 5670560 and pound 560 on the Mobile One line. By the way, they said the new Air Canada Center is beautiful, but the ice is the worst in the league. And what I tell you about these new joints, including ours, where the ice is really so bad, but nobody wants to listen because they don't know from it. Okay, they're listening to Gildy. Yeah, Theo Fleury on that power play. The amount of misinformation given on this radio station by people who have no idea what they're talking about, who don't do any homework, who don't really pay any attention to what. And like I said, this is a place they can get away with it because the masses out there, most of them don't know either. They don't know Theo Fairy from the Tooth Fairy, which he could use, by the way. Could use some help. Of course, he was asleep in the back seat. He didn't see anything going on.
Well, stay in school. Don't go out on your own. 'Cause there's a whole lot of stuff you just can't do at home. Search all around, but you won't see CEO with a GED. When nothing compares to the marvelous feeling of making butter patties stick to the ceiling, smoking in the bathroom, making out in the hall, or hitting a fat kid with a speeding dodgeball. Yeah, I remember that. And throw a paper wad with a fire alarm, blow up the toilet with a cherry bomb, dissect a frog in biology class, find yourself a nerd and wedge his ass. Well, you'll be a hit in chemistry when you make the class a batch of LSD. Start a food fight, you milk out your nose. When you go to school, where anything goes. So stay in school, don't go out on your own. 'Cause there's a whole lot of stuff you just can't do at home. But search all around, but you won't see a CEO with a GED. Search all around, but you won't see a CEO with a GED.
It's 11:45 at 560 WQAM, the award-winning Hank Goldberg Show at 2, the Fat Boog Shabby Show at 6, and the desperate Ed Kaplan Show. Desperate only because he's not making any money at Gulfstream, 10 o'clock tonight. That was nice of Ed to call in yesterday. How'd you set that up? See, this was all contrived yesterday. Ordinarily, it would have been very nice, but as soon as I saw the card from you, Happy Anniversary, which I'd forgotten about, I knew that we were, had a whole bunch of crap coming down. But it killed a good day yesterday. It was great. By the way, for the guy that's the voyeur, the one that's got no life and is very concerned about what I do, I went to Virgin Records in the Magnum Plaza, which is now a big 3-story shopping plaza, which used to be, it's like an old castle. It's right behind the Royal Castle at the Dan Square. And it used to be the Amsterdam main post office was there. And then some enterprising businessman, I saw a documentary on it while I was there, came along and turned it into the Magnum Plaza. And there's a huge Virgin Records in there. And I bought some music. How do you like that? Yeah. Like Steps from London. Of course, I'm not going to play this, but just to give you an idea. This is a good song. Heartbeat. Come on, let's do it. Well, it's a slow starter. So there's something for you to write down in your little diary that you're keeping track. Nothing worse than a busybody. Nothing worse than a guy, because anybody that's a busybody, you know what they're trying to tell you? They have absolutely no effing life whatsoever. None. Zero. Here's Aventura. Hello.
Hey, happy anniversary, Neil.
Well, thank you so much.
This be your mocha-colored brother.
All right.
I was listening to you yesterday when you brought up the whole point of the Jamaicans over in Amsterdam.
Did you say bro?
No, I said brother.
Oh, because I could say schvo. But anyway, go ahead.
Hey, what was the Jamaican?
Now, why didn't I get any response on that?
Yeah, man. Because I agree with you. I reason that a lot when I hear or see certain things or like these. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Jamaican. It could be a brother. It could be a black person who's acting stupid and wearing the crazy hair and looking, abrasive.
Not in Amsterdam, though.
No?
They were all like those islands people. It's all like they're cut out of the same mold. They all got the same Rasta hair and the same rap, Coke, bud? Coke, what do you need? Coke?
I go to work every day.
They all look the same.
Friday.
They all smell the same. And, of course, I have a feeling, I do realize that every country's got to have its certain number of Caribbean people so they have enough drugs.
Yeah, man.
But other than that, I think they got enough other kinds of drugs there should keep everybody happy.
Right. Hey, Neil, one more thing. When you were gone, this whole rape thing with the president came across the news, and I was looking at the news the other day, and I saw these people, and the president went to California, all these people standing on the street corners with rapist signs and all this other stuff, and this is being beamed all over the world, and these crazy people stand out there calling this man a rapist off an allegation.
Well, you'll feel better. The rest of the world is, they don't give a crap. They realize how primitive the American people are.
Oh, okay. All right, well, Neil, you take it easy.
Okay, bro.
All right.
See ya. Whatever. Well, if you call me bro, I'm going to call you schmo. What's wrong with that? Now, he's got a good point, and I think that, see, this is this whole business about labels and about races and about religions. See, within, like the thing with the Orthodox Jews that I mentioned several days before I went on vacation, no response on that, of course, because the rest of us are all embarrassed about it, I guess. All the rest of us Jews, which are like 9 million Jews in South Florida, by the way. Do you know that there's 12 million Jews down here? But at any rate, so the Orthodox against the conservative and reform, and then you've got the Hispanics who all hate each other, the Cubans who hate the Puerto Ricans, and the Colombians who hate the Mexicans, and it's all the same. And one thing we never realized, we're always hearing it the other way around about how they, like it's some kind of, it's part of that imperious attitude, like the Jamaican women I'm always telling you about, with that real arrogant, better than thou, condescending attitude. Well, it seems to me a lot of the island people have got the same attitude toward black Americans. Oh, well, I'm not a black, I'm from, wherever, fill in the blank. I'm from like a real, progressive place like Haiti, something like that. I have a feeling that there's a lot of resentment there because we're talking about really different kind of cultures. And the point I was trying to make yesterday in repeating this business about all these damn drug dealers out on the streets there, these Rasta people from the Netherlands, Antilles, and all these other damn Dutch islands who have their passports so they can't keep them out, is that they create a very ugly stereotype. And I think it was Saturday night I'm walking down one of the streets on a Damrack, one of the main shopping streets there, and here's another one of these, these Rasta Schwarzes, crack coke man, and I'm thinking, I wanted to say to him, but of course, sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, but I wanted to say, are there any of you black folks in this town who aren't busy selling illegal drugs on the streets? But I didn't say it. Because other than that, it's, it's paradise, but there's always got to be something. There's always got to be some chigger in the woodpile no matter where you go. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello. Fort Lauderdale.
Hi, God.
Yes, sir.
GED stands for good effort, dummy.
Uh-huh.
While you were gone, the show seemed so long while George was talking. That guy blows.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Open line in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. Where's, I thought I saw her on there. Well, let's dispense with it.
Happy Purim. Happy Purim to you. Happy Purim.
To you.
Yeah. How are you?
Is today really the day?
Huh?
I said happy Purim.
Thank you. I didn't have luck with the Hummentashen.
Yeah, good. We don't need no Hummentashen, okay? It'll make you fat and sick. Take years off your life.
I know, but
let Esther eat all the Hummentashen.
My niece got me those little white hard ones.
No, listen, well, sometimes a little white hard one ain't bad, That's what I tell everybody, and they run like a son of a bitch.
Yes. Neil.
Yeah.
I agree with you on this Angela Ray.
Yeah, she's got a thing on her. I think it's a disease.
She irked
I think
me.
She's got a big chirpy problem is what she's got.
I think, no, she looks like she's ready to attack that guy Steve.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I don't know. I'm ready. Channel 4 is off my station now.
I am too.
Say goodbye to Channel 4. I got my letter from the Satellite Superstar Connection, and because of Channel 4 and CBS, they got to take my national CBS thing off my big dish, and I can't see it anymore. So goodbye to Channel 4. Goodbye to any of these local affiliates that want to try to force us to watch what we don't want to watch.
Right.
This is supposed to be America. That would be like my forcing anybody that wanted to listen to radio in this town to an AM station to listen to QAM. Or who the hell wouldn't like to have a deal like that?
This morning you mentioned Lochenkup.
Right.
I haven't heard that since I was a young girl.
Oh, I know my Yiddish, sweetheart, believe me.
Yes, you sure do.
Mm-hmm. I'm a real scholar.
Yeah. Okay, Neil.
Have a happy.
The same to you.
Sei gesund.
Thank God.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
She said, thank
you. Good.
We have an open line in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one, as we keep plodding along here, waiting to hear about the perfect God, the imperfect God, the silly, silly stories from silly, silly people who just refuse to say goodbye to Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and the boogeyman under the bed. Rhymes with dead. That's the problem. They don't like the dead part. And let me tell you again, if there was a God, he wouldn't give you like 65, 75, 80, maybe 90 years if you're lucky. He wouldn't do that if there was a loving God. And he also wouldn't make you wrinkled up and shriveled. He wouldn't make you, as you get older, look like a prune. He wouldn't do that to us. But nature, like I told you, nature is dispassionate. Nature doesn't care. Nature is devoid of emotions. Nature just is. Like we are. It just is. So that's what it is, and, if you can accept it, fine, and do the best you can. If you can't accept it, get a crutch. Turn on Jan and Paul Crutch on that Channel 45. They'll help you out. They'll take your money and help you out. They'll give you an offer that nobody would refuse. For the right price, you can go to heaven. You can have eternal, everlasting life. Your soul, the human soul, will go up there. Up there. Maybe Clark Kent once saw what was up there. Maybe he jumped a little bit too high in that silly suit with the tights that he used to wear. Maybe he went a little bit too high. Or maybe whoever wrote Superman was a little bit too high when he wrote it. Maybe that's what was wrong with George Reeves. Dead. Chris Reeves. Well, here's Miami. Hello. Miami.
Yes, hello?
Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
On speakerphone.
Don't be sorry.
Well, I didn't call you to convince you that God's real or whatever, but I called to tell you that I love Amsterdam also. I visited, and it's a beautiful place. Plus, it's not anything like America.
Right.
They're not.
That's why it's a great place. They're not what?
They're not anything like America.
No.
They're not inattentive about sex or anything. But I go there and I enjoy the nightlife and more educational things like the museums and things like that too. But I also want to make another point that people. Well, I'm black, and people that are from other countries like Jamaica or Haiti or whatever, they do try and disassociate themselves from Americans.
Yeah. Well, you ought to be pleased with that.
Well, I don't have
certainly in Amsterdam, the Caribbean black people there give all black people from all over the world a bad name by their behavior. It's just disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I didn't really see any bad behavior when I was there. So
well, you were probably not hanging out in the right neighborhood.
Right. No, I didn't really go. All out. I kind of stayed in safe places.
Right.
So that's what I mean. I just call to say that, but I don't know their deal, but about trying to disassociate themselves. I mean, I don't care who they are or who they want to be.
Well, they have a very condescending, arrogant kind of attitude, and I guess they feel they got better weed than you guys have. Have a great day, sweetheart. See you in the dam rack. Alsjeblieft. Dank u wel. That's it. That's my 2 words. Alsjeblieft. Did anybody ever call and, no, they did? What did they say? Was I right? It's kind of like Italian prego. There you go.
Oh, about that? No. I thought you were talking about something else.
About what else?
That 11:30 on Cinema.
Oh, what is it?
I'll tell you during the break. You don't want it to go on the air.
I don't want it to go on the air?
Trust me.
We have an open line at date, 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line.
Hey, Neil, fuck you.
Since the word came down, I've been home crying in my bed. I turn on the TV because they say the NBA is dead. Well, Robin, you love to whine. Why don't you practice at the free throw line? Then you can help us rise and help us get along without mine.
Oh, man.
Help us rise and help us rise. Help us rise and help us rise. Help us rise. Yeah, it's so hard without mine. Now you got a pretty wife, it's the pantyhose and be a man. Wash away the purple dye, get a haircut and don't sit on the fan. Well, Rodman, you jump so high, and you can triple double if you try. You gotta help us rise and help us get along without mine. Help us rise, help us rise, help us rise, help us rise, help us get along without mine.
Yeah, he's a real credit to the sports world, no question about that. It's a minute past noon at 560 WQAM. In fact, next time you go into McDonald's, say, I'll have a triple-double, please. We have an open line at date, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. By the way, we got a big event coming on Friday. This Friday, we've been waiting for this for months. I know all of you are on the edge of your seat. Marlins in Tampa. Oh! Exhibition baseball, 12:50 in the p.m. from Vieira. We got a whole bunch of those this month, to which we say, all right. Yeah. Not good for the ratings, but you know something? It's a good way to kind of work your way back in. Come back from vacation, you don't have too many days with the whole 4 hours. Friday, we got like 2 hours and 50 minutes. Sounds real good to me.
Oh!
And, of course, Hank, he'll be on after the game, which means like about 4:30 till 6. He's probably going, yeah, sounds okay. Because that's all, just what we need to goose those numbers back up is some good exhibition baseball. Because we sure love the Marlins here on QAM. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir. Want to buy any spots on the Marlin games? What is it?
No, I have a quote for you.
Yeah.
If God lived on Earth, people will throw rock at his windows.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Okay.
Okay.
We have an open line at Dade, 567. How come we didn't do any shtick today? 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. You let us down, pal. We're waiting for your shtick. Here's a mobile in Davie. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Happy anniversary.
Well, thank you so much.
Hey, Neil, do we really want to follow a God that would have his son brutally murdered as a way of showing his love for us?
No.
I mean, what the hell is that all about?
Well, it's a sadistic God, like I told you. It's a God of violence and sadism and wrath and hate and waxing hot and melting pot and all this other stuff.
Yeah, and what kind of a God is it that would convince us or allow us to believe that prayer would be helpful when he already knows the outcome and whether he's going to help us or not?
Right.
I mean, what is that all about?
Yeah, good point.
And beyond that, Neil, why are all of these lunatics wearing crosses? If the leader of what I believe to be a miraculous religion died in the electric chair, I wouldn't wear an electric chair around my neck or a gas chamber. What the hell are they doing wearing a cross? What the hell is that all about?
It's good business. Somebody's got to make some cash off it. How'd you like to have what they call it, a tchotchke store?
Yes, this is what the leader of their faith was nailed to and left for days, and this is what they wear around their neck to celebrate. I don't get that at all.
Well, how about back in Noah's days, man, when everybody was drowning over there? That wasn't too much fun either.
It's a book filled with murder and torture and abuse, and this is what the loving Father has given us, and people buy this and believe it.
That mankind is carrying out the tradition, man.
Very scary, Neil. Very scary. I mean, I can understand if a few people, there are a few little tribes that believed in this.
Yeah.
To have so many people believe in this and accept this as the truth, it's a scary commentary on the culture we live in.
I'll see you at the passport office.
See you there, Neil.
Okay. We have an open line in Broward, two of them, as a matter of fact, 567-0560. Don't be a coward. Call from Broward, 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. I mean, have we had one? You know, I'm trying to think. 23 years. This is the first day of my 24th year on the air in Miami. Have I ever had one call on this topic that made any sense, that was, you know, that argued with my point of view? Have I ever had one?
No.
One that made any good points?
No.
That could justify all these fairy tales?
No.
Of course, we had Christina. I forgot about her. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Neil?
Great.
Happy Purim. Happy anniversary. The only thing missing yesterday was the bird. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I called, I looked up.
Let's not do that again next year. Let's wait till the 25th one, okay, before we do the contrived stuff and have to see all these other make-believe people. I mean,
I looked up what was on at 11:30. Since George told you, he said he was going to stay off the air.
Don't say it on here. He's trying to promote some of that stupid that he keeps trying to come on here. We will not put it on here.
That guy is sad. He called.
That's his material. That's a medley of his material. Is this grade Z movie that nobody will ever watch, and it's not going to get on the air, and don't watch it.
My dad and I were talking.
And if you do turn it on, it'll be off by 11:32.
My dad and I were talking the other day. When you leave, when you retire, I could throw my radio away. And that thing they put on in place of Rick and Suds, oh my God, that's sad.
What thing are you talking about? That thing? Yeah.
And George did a pretty good job. I hope he hones his skill so when you leave he can sit in a big chair.
He's honing it right now.
All right.
See,
later.
He's working on it, and his skills too. Or maybe that's his shillelagh. He's getting ready for St. Patrick's Day, not too far away. Purim today. If it's Purim now, can St. Patty's Day be too far away?
No.
Open line at Dade 1 in Broward, 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. No Hummentoschen, okay? We thank that lady. Who was that? Oh, that was from Dave Halberstam. We thank Dave profusely. I am not going to be eating those, and Hank will not be getting any of that stuff either. And you know something? If he's upset about it, too bad. I'm doing you a favor, Hank. Nobody anywhere in the world is more familiar with trying desperately to get off of this crap and having people stick it in front of your face. A sugar addict like yours truly. Now, if I could find a God that would get me free from the sugar addiction, then maybe, probably not, but just maybe there might be a chance. I'd at least pretend to go for it. Here's a mobile in Coral Springs. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Happy anniversary. I missed the last hour of your show yesterday, so I missed Rick and Suds calling you up to wish you a happy anniversary.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
I mean, you've given them a lot of publicity. But anyway, I wanted to
call. I'm not going to do that. Rick Riley is so terrified of his job, and working for them, I don't blame him.
Anyway, I wanted to tell you about...
Didn't hear Steve Kane calling in yesterday, the only guy that promoted that bum fork station that he's on.
He called?
No, he did not.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, people don't realize how Jews are prejudiced against Jews.
Yeah.
I grew up in Chicago where if you were a German Jew, you had the best synagogues, you had the finest jobs. And my dad who had a little store on the west side of Chicago, I mean, he could never hope to go to a fine synagogue like the Germans. German Jews were the finest Jews, and the Russian Jews, we were dirt.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Do I remember that? Yeah, I remember that, just like it was yesterday.
Terrific ego. But anyway, I'm glad to hear the Purim woman called up.
Okay. Sei gesund. We have an open line at Day 2 in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
Happy Purim and happy anniversary.
Thank you.
You absolutely cracked me up with your Paul and Jan routine.
Paul and Jan Crotch.
Crotch is right.
Right.
The wonderful TBN Trinity Broadcasting, 468
Dare to watch
stations.
Paul and Jane Crotch.
If people only knew the truth about how many stations they really own.
And if they also know the truth, I was reading in one of the tabloids on the plane going over, by the way, about this gigantic multi-million-dollar mansion, how they've scammed all this money from Trinity Broadcasting, and they're always on the air talking about, poverty and close to the Lord and this and that. And they live in this multi-million-dollar mansion that Paul Crotch just built out in California, and they've got huge palatial homes all over the world, and they're living the life of Riley, and they're ripping it off from all these poor old slobs that are watching this crap.
Oh, absolutely. They took in last year $260 million.
Tax-free.
Absolutely, which is the bigger crack of the whole thing is that most of people really believe that they own 400 and some actual TV stations.
Mm-hmm.
They own 12 TV stations. The rest are uplinks.
Right.
Which is like $2,500 a pop and then pay your fee.
Right, that's their pyramid scheme. It's
exactly. And these people, they pay all the money, they do all this sort of crap. And they're ready to die on the line because they're all going crazy. Interesting thing, Jan was caught in Nashville about 5 months ago, I think, or 6 months ago, riding down the street with her entourage on Harley Davidson motorcycles with tattoos on her back. Which I thought I thought that's really neat.
Well, she's got to appeal to that crowd.
It's Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Okay.
Thank you.
And have a great day.
Bye.
Yeah, Jan and Paul Crotch, they'll take your money. Is it warm in here, or is it just me? It really is warm. It's a little on the warm side. Either that or God is starting to, turn the furnace up a little bit. Because you know where we're going to wind up, George. It's going to be real hot. Well, I guess that's a good thing when you move to Florida just before you go to hell. Right? Because the temperature, especially in July, August, when it's real hot and humid, it's kind of like conditioning for the real thing. 10 minutes past, I've always said this is hell. 10 minutes past noon at 560 QAM.
Why are you airing shit like this?
Bill cigars in Monica's vagina.
Okay.
She lets out a giggle when he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind. But a cigar in her vagina, she don't mind.
Are you sure?
Well, he don't know where a stogie goes. I can see how there was some confusion between humidor and humid whore. And in Arkansas, the term cedar box means saw her naked. Stars report can lead to going blind. Now Clinton, he was working hard, late nights in the Ovary office, working on a practical joke. He took a Macanudo, put an exploding load in, for Monica was blowing rings of smoke. Bill cigars in Monica's vagina. She lets out a giggle every time he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind, but but a cigar in her vagina she don't mind. Oh, people feel that Hillary's been made a fool of by her husband. Feel that Hillary was wronged. Up in the Lincoln bedroom, she was moaning, moaning. Al Gore was doing her with Bill's old bong. Bill cigars in Monica's vagina. She lets out a giggle every friggin' time he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind, but a cigar in her vagina she don't mind. Whoa, Candy, Sandy, yeah, Dutch Master is faster. Oh, yeah. What you gotta do is take a Tiparillo and put it in a brill. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, now, oh, yeah.
12:17 at 560 QAM. So anyway, I told you I got my letter from Superstar Connection after all this time. Dear Superstar customer, as a result of a federal court ruling, we sincerely regret we must disconnect your CBS and Fox network services effective February 28th, as in a couple of days ago. Please understand that this ruling only applies to your network services, etc., and so on. Why this is happening, a federal judge interpreted the Satellite Home Viewer Act for CBS and Fox networks and determined this. If you live in an area where half the people can receive the local TV station half the time using a 30-foot high antenna, you are not eligible to receive that TV network via satellite, even if you cannot receive that local station at all. This turnoff, due to the legal restriction imposed by the judge, will affect you no matter where who you are, C or whatever, C-band or DBS. So in other words, big dish, little dish, you got a big one or a little one, they're still cutting it out. And then on the back, it's got people. It says, here are the people you can write to for an exemption. In other words, if you live under a cave somewhere and you really can't pick up their signal, and it's got the general managers of Channel 7, which is Fox in Miami, WFLX and PEC, which is CBS and Fox in Palm Beach, and the unctuous WFOR Channel 4 in Miami, CBS. Alan Shacklin, general manager. Alan Shacklin, you should only have a wicked hemorrhoid, okay? You miserable piece of dreck. This business, this idea that somehow TV operators believe that they can manipulate and control what people can pay for to watch on their satellite dishes is so unbelievable. And this ruling by the repressive courts that even if you can't pick it up yourself, if 50% of the people in your viewing area can pick it up, then you're still screwed. That's the kind of freedom you got in America. And by the way, just to show you that things continue to be the same here, I should save this. I should start a crap book, not a scrapbook, a crap book. I love reading the letters to the editor in both newspapers, not because there are any good ones very often, very rarely, but because every now and then you'll read one that's so ridiculous or that is such a classic example of what kind of journalism we have in this town, and I use that word loosely, 2 words, journalism and town. Here's a letter in the Miami Herald this morning that they wouldn't print this letter in the Canandaigua, New York Daily Messenger, which is a town of 10,000 people. In the Weekly Reader at your local elementary school, they would not print this letter. It's so juvenile and ridiculous, and I'll read it to you. It says, "Keep aspirin handy just in case," is the headline. Shirley Zeev in Miami writes, "I read that a person having a heart attack should immediately take an ordinary aspirin. People should make sure that they know where the aspirin is, that they can get the cap off, and that it is fresh." End of letter from Shirley in Miami. Printed in your Miami Herald. Know where the aspirin is, make sure you can get the cap off, is that the cap on the aspirin or your skull cap, and that it is fresh. A letter in this morning's Miami Herald on the editorial effing page. We have an open line at Dade 1 in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560. And you wonder why this is such a Bush League place with so many Bush League people and Bush League media and Bush League operations like you can't see the goal light at the arena and all these things. Here's Aventura. Hello.
Hi, how you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
Neil, I have a sort of comment. I honestly don't agree with you, like in the way you were talking about religion and God and the Bible. I really feel that if everybody would live by the Word of God and in the Bible, the way it speaks, we would all get along and we wouldn't be having many problems.
Is that why God kept telling the Jews to kill their enemies in the Old Testament?
Well, I don't know about the other.
Well, why don't you go read the Bible and then call and talk to me about it, okay? Mr. Hotshot, here's another brainwashed imbecile who's got no brain, no education, no learning, no nothing, and he's calling me, well, I don't know. Well, then find out before you call a talk show and start spouting off a bunch of crap. Live by God's Word. Boy, does that frost my ass. Damn it. Yeah. All you simpleton people out there that have been brainwashed, like manipulated like puppets on a string because you can't think for yourself. Pick up that stupid book and read all that crap. And if you get past the first few pages, I'll give you a goddamn purple something. Purple Tinky Winky.
Purple balloon.
Purple balloon. We got those around. Stuff will blow it up for you. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hi, Neil. First
Yes,
time
sir.
caller.
Yes?
Well, this is the satellite man. I can solve your problem. I have the big dish, and I know what you're going through. First of all, CBS television network is on G6, okay, and G7. G6 is their backup. G7 is their backup.
I've had a big dish for 12 years. Don't you think, with all due respect, don't you think I know where to find the feeds?
Okay. Second of all,
But that's not the point. And of course, the people that have been watching it on the small dish, they're totally screwed because there are no backhauls. There are no other, as you know, there are no other feeds.
Are you familiar with the BMAC decoder?
No.
Okay, a BMAC decoder.
Obviously something illegal.
Oh no. It's not illegal at all. The BMAC decoder is like between $800 to $1,000 decoder.
Yeah.
That will receive the network through your satellite receiver. And I'm not talking about the VC2 Plus board.
You're talking about an illegal chip is what you're talking about.
Nope, you can buy it locally.
Let me say it again, sir. It is not legal to receive. I don't care where you can buy it. That doesn't mean that it's legal. You can't receive the CBS and Fox signal in Miami as of now.
Whatever you have in
Not
your
legally.
home is your property.
Wrong. And you know better than that. If you know anything about satellites, they can come and they can confiscate it. If you've got illegal equipment there, the government can come and take it away in 2 seconds, and they've done it.
Okay, how come they haven't done that with cable?
Meaning what? They have done it with cable. They put people in jail with illegal boxes. What are you talking? Sir, get a life, okay? Here's another guy, just like the guy that called before. This is one of the great things about talk shows, one of the great joys of the 50 years that I've been doing this, the 500 years, is that people, they call it, and of course, once they say it on the air, the people that really believe it. I believe you should be able to watch whatever the hell you want. If it's a premium show, a sporting event that isn't like free over the air, then if you want to pay for it, you should be able to watch it. Period. What a concept. And look at all the money they're missing out. Trace the call. The guy's selling illegal boxes. We have an open line in Dade, 561-056. What is it? 561. What number is that? That's an old KAT number. Oh, my God, he's regressing. That's seriously. 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Well, I'm trying to move back in time so I can catch up with some of these people. If you just live by God's word, well, what is it? I don't know. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Was that last guy one of the politicians in Miami?
Yeah.
It's not illegal unless you get caught.
Right.
Listen, Neil, I want to thank you.
Probably a friend of Xavier Suarez.
I want to thank you because I grew up as a very Christian and very holy and very Bible-thumping person all my life.
Oi!
And as I listened to your show for the last several years, you brought up so many good points and so many just common sense that I guess you never think of. And thanks to you, I have completely gone away from all that and starting to think.
Thank God.
Starting to think for myself. The only problem is I send my kids to a Catholic school, and it's not because of the Catholic education or anything. It's simply because I think it's better than the public school education. And this church has a deal. This school has a deal that if you contribute X amount of dollars to the church, which is right there next to the school, you get reduced tuition. There's no fact in the church.
Right.
So I did that for a while, and then I said, this is I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to support the church anymore or pay for the Catholic habits and their ways. So I pay regular tuition and
don't support those nasty habits.
Just keep it. Just pay the regular tuition and that's it. But thanks to you, I've seen the error of my ways.
Excellent.
And And all I can say is let's save a lot of money in this life so when we get to hell we can install central air conditioning.
All right. And have a great day, sir. God bless you. Okay, Exotic Garden sends this. Who is this from, by the way? Is this serious? Please accept a belated tribute to the godfather of South Florida Talk Radio. Congratulations on your 23rd anniversary, Steve Kane, Mr. Ego. How do you like that? Well, thank you, Steve. Unbelievable. Man, oh, man. I'm not going to play it. Well, I can't find it, first of all. You never know what these things are under. Like,
just tell me what your problem is.
And now those are real flowers, I'm assuming? They look like roses.
Yes, real roses.
Thanks, Steve. You're okay in my book, at least to a point anyway. Hey, listen, like I said, I'm for the talent. And one thing about Steve Kane, I disagree with all of his right-wing opinions, which who knows what happened to him. Maybe he got into a bad bowl of grits or something. I don't know. And some of the unctuous people that he's associated himself with. But the fact is, nevertheless, here's a guy that came along, and carved out, he created a thing, FTL. He created a light bulb. He went out there and he invented something out of 100-year-old people and made a living out of it. You got to make a living, baby. So I commend him, and I always have said that, even though he's often full of crap, but nevertheless, it's a radio show. Nice going, Steve. Thank you. Steve Kane, 1470 on your AM dial morning. Oh. And then don't forget Mike Ranieri. We heard from him yesterday. And, that scandal there, that whole thing with Henry Barrow, you noticed when Ranieri called in? A lot of hostility there, in spite of the way Henry Barrow tried to, soft soap the whole deal about how he and Roger knifed Ranieri in the back and stole the show from him. That's what they did.
Hey, man, it's true. I can have an orgasm just driving down I-95. But only if you're driving beside me.
I'm going for my picking up dudes merit badge. I want to be the leader of the Beaver Patrol.
I want to hike and camp and shower with all the other little boys.
You know something, folks? The Boy Scouts never used to be about sex, but now all that's changed. Hi, I'm Admiral Sanders, spokesman for America's #1 juvenile paramilitary group. If you're a little bugger whose hormones are just getting out of hand for boys or girls, then I want you to join me in the scouting experience. We've changed.
A scout is trustworthy, loyal, horny,
and we want you
alone, in a tent, wearing khakis.
So just remember our motto.
Be prepared to run like hell if skinheads show up.
And get your cute little keister down here today.
Okay, 1232 at 560 QM. So I feel really wounded, because virtually everybody in the industry, everybody of any significance, says either yesterday or Steve Kane, better late than ever. He admitted he was a little bit, behind the time. But a beautiful thing of roses from Exotic Gardens. Yesterday we heard from everybody and their brother. Henry Barrow, Mike Ranieri, Hank Goldberg stopped into the studio personal, Ed Kaplan, Jim Manwich. But did we hear from Rick and Spud?
No.
No. Did they even call to give me a number?
No.
No. Didn't even give me a number, much less happy anniversary.
No.
Well, I heard Rick once say that you're #1.
No, he once gave me #1. Or at least he was holding up #1. I think as I was on the way out the door.
Damn it.
Yeah. That's okay. What goes around comes around, guys. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. We got 600 open lines today. We're still waiting to get saved. Thanks so much to our good friend Matthew for his brilliant letter in that book. The name of the book, The Signature of God.
Oh, God.
And Matthew has got me converted already. In fact, I'm going to be going to shul, and then I'm going to be stopping at a few churches on the way. There are plenty of them out there in the acres. May stop out there and see the Mormons. May put my magic underwear on. Here's a fax, just a quick fax to say happy anniversary. It says, sorry it's a day late, but couldn't get to a fax yesterday. You should know that you're the best thing on the air, period. I've been listening for 10 years faithfully and will continue to listen. I'm 30 years old and live in Boynton Beach, and you do have a ton of listeners up here. I had the pleasure of meeting you at a hockey game this year. I was nervous talking to you, so I probably came across like an idiot, but you said don't worry about it, as you were very nice to speak with. How do you like that? I was very nice to speak with. As opposed to some of these assholes who expect that I'm going to put on a song and a dance for them when they meet me. Brian up there in Boynton Beach, he was satisfied. He was, no problems. He says, between Bob and Tom in the morning and you from 10 to 2, the whole day is taken care of. How do you like that? Bob and Tom in the morning, you know how I love them. Now that we've lost Ranieri, I guess he's got a better deal than the one they were working on to get him over here. Because they are working feverishly to replace that morning show over here. That's what I hear. So we can't get Ranieri. But you know something? Bob and Tom mornings on this station. Because Palm Beach, there's no conflict there because it's not the same market. Bob and Tom in the morning. I can almost smell it right now, can't you? 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Of course, they'd probably keep Geldy on, like, as a sidekick. Here's Naples. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you if you had ever thought about that gap in the chronology of the life of Jesus between the age of 12 and 30.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Didn't you read Pat Boone's book, Twixt 12 and 30?
No.
Yeah, well, that's the answer is the gap. In fact, Pat Boone, he was doing those Gap jeans spots talking when he was peddling the book.
What's his
and then the acne statin, too,
What is his idea that happened during that
It's really nice when I see Pat Boone on these stupid infomercials to see how ungracefully he's aging and how bad he looks. It makes me feel really good. What is it?
I'm asking you, what was his idea between those ages?
Well, he was, spanking it a lot, I guess. He was busy.
I'm wondering if the Christians actually know that they're following a Buddhist. That's why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
Jesus, I believe, during that period through some...
There's a lot of confusions about it.
I've done some studying about it because I wondered quite a bit about it.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, I was really taken
Why would you waste
with
your
the
time
image
on such drivel, on such idiocy?
Well, I was young and I was interested in this life of this guy who, had so much of a following. I wanted to know a lot more about it.
Maybe that guy who called me about an hour and a half ago can call up Jesus and say, Jesus, when you slept to Jerusalem, what do you do there? Do you do the same, go to the same joints all the time? What do you do there?
I think he probably tries to stay out of town.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him.
Me too. But anyway, I think at the age of 12, that's when the Jewish kids went into their apprenticeship for what they do for life. And I think that his parents encouraged him to study the different philosophies and religions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he, this is a speculation, but there's
I don't think there was ever any such person, to be very honest with you. I don't think there was any such Moses, there was any Abraham, there was any Jesus, there was any Noah, Daniel. These are all old wives' tales.
Could you entertain my idea, though?
No.
Oh, please.
No.
Well, I think that he followed the trade routes to India
Yeah.
and studied under some
Maybe he
Buddhist
went to China
masters.
with Marco Polo.
I don't know if he got that far.
Maybe he brought back macaroni.
But I think he studied the Buddhist principles.
Maybe that's why the Catholics used to have to eat macaroni and cheese every Friday. Maybe he got that stolen from a Marconi.
No, they used to eat fish.
I mean, from Marco Polo or Marconi. He was a good Italian boy. Okay, whatever you're saying, you're talking nonsense, and so am I, and it fits perfectly. You think Marconi ate macaroni?
Yes.
He liked it, baby. He liked his pasta. Basta la pasta. It's got lots of carbs, man. Don't get sucked into that pasta stuff. We have an open line by poor Oprah, by the way. She's licking her wounds. Jerry Springer's beating the snot out of that bitch. She's going to retire in a year or so because she's just embarrassed. Yeah, she's embarrassed because he's beating the pants off her, that bitch. Because she's still doing those syrupy, boring shows of hers. With all these syrupy, boring housewives, millions of them from coast to coast, sucking up every bit of swill that she spews on the air. Pathetic. Pathetic. 22 till 1. Couldn't you just see her? Seriously, I don't want, this may sound bad, but couldn't you just see her with that bone in her nose? I'm serious. I envision that all the time. Every time I see her on the tube while I'm channel surfing, real quickly, I bounce right by there. And that picture of like Elsie the Borden cow, with that. I need help.
Rick Riley stole my briefcase. I like to fart in his face. That's Marmy Dink, what gives him the right. Oh! I think his wife ought to bite it off tonight. Rick Riley stole my briefcase. What disgrace to the human race. Oh, Rick, you're a schmuck. And Goldberg sucks. That wheel of meat should also include Rick Riley's butt. Oh, Rick Riley stole my briefcase. I like a fart in his face.
I need help.
Rick Riley, you're an asshole. Yeah.
Hey, listen, fair is fair. The deal is they're not allowed to call. I'm sure that they both would have called. They'd have gotten on there together on a coronal extension and wished me all the, but they can't call because it's a clear channel. It's Pete Bolger and Ronna Wolf. Paranoia. Paranoia, baby. Little people are paranoid, okay? I remember back in that year that I was on Zeta, and maybe the 10 of you who are still alive remember those days. And I used to call all the other morning shows in town. I used to call Bill Tanner. Used to call up even Joey Reynolds when he was on She. And who else was on the air? Sonny Fox was on, where was he? He was on, maybe Sonny was on She. But anyway, he used to call, and the only one that was paranoid and uptight about it was the guy that's waiting tables now at the Sterling Country Kitchen in Hollywood, Greg Budell. Oh, you're interfering with my show? Well, if I'm interfering with your show, what are you putting me on the air for, asshole? He's a piece of work, boy, I'm going to tell you. All the shrinks in the world put together, they could have a symposium and not figure that poor character out. He's just sad. But he waits a mean table, I hear. Leave him a good tip, come on, for old time's sake. Here's Miami, hello.
Hello, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, sir.
Happy delayed anniversary.
In fact, I was in a Sterling Country Kitchen with Sally Fitz the other day. I said, she said, come on, leave Greg a big tip. You know, he's gone through some tough times. I said, can't do it, Sally. Go ahead, sir.
And how was your vacation, sir?
Great.
Great. I was listening to George. I think he's excellent.
Yes.
I just want to ask him if I can be his White House intern.
No.
Yeah. And
I can do more with a cigar than Monica can.
Can you? Well, that's probably because you're Cuban. See what I'm saying? Same old stuff. Go away for a few days, come back. It's never going to change. Same old stuff. That's all they know, man.
Rectum.
That's it.
Rectum.
Metacone and
Rectum.
Which there may be a little crossover there somewhere, you know. Those are fine cigars, okay? Well, of course, he's probably getting them in a dime store. He's probably getting those real, 20 for $1 at one of those real cheap convenience stores in Little Havana down there on Flagler Street. See, if you want to get great cigars, just go to the other end of Flagler Street down there by Nixon. You get some great cigars, but of course this guy's a schlepper. Same old tired, sorry tune, man. Same sad. And like I said before, this business about what would this town be if they hadn't come here, you know what the answer is? I'll give you one word. Paradise. Oh! That's what this town would be. That's what this town used to be, by the way. When I first came here, BM. That's not Brian Murray. That's BM as in before Marielle. It was paradise. This was a pretty neat place. It still had some of the trappings of the old greatness, you know? Like when Jackie Gleason used to do his show from the Fontainebleau and, when the beach was really something and we had national publicity and even that anti-Semite Arthur Godfrey used to be on from the beach. It was paradise. That's what it would be. You offer nothing. Zero. Zippity-doo-dah. You contribute nothing. Nothing but divisiveness and stupidity and a whole other culture that refuses to come out of the Stone Age. That refuses you so far out of the mainstream. That's the sad part. So far, maybe even if you stop killing the chickens on the front lawn, go choke your chicken on the back lawn. That would be better. That would be a good beginning, too, like taking a tiny little step into American culture. I know, we're pushing too hard. It's a little bit too soon. Wait till Generation Zye, because we're only up to Enye. So we got a long way to go in the alphabet, all the way to the end. Is there, what do they call Z in Espanol? Z?
Zeta.
Oh, Zeta, that's right, Zeta 4. What is Zeta 4? Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Going once, going twice, 11 minutes and 58 seconds of our cash wasted by that bonehead. Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
I went to the Panther game the other night, and I'm a Leaf fan, and I was cheering for the Coyotes. Some jackass turns around and starts screaming at me, telling me to shut up. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, sure picked a good night to pull for the Coyotes from
I know.
7-1. Nice
it was
game.
pretty embarrassing.
Well, they're in a coma, the Coyotes. See, every team goes through, no matter how, like the Flyers. The Flyers were so hot there for a while, and now they couldn't beat a girls' team. Every team goes through it.
The Leafs are playing pretty well. That's pretty good.
The Leafs are playing great.
Yeah, all right, Neil, take care.
The ice at the new arena sucks, by the way.
No, Denny Potvin was saying on Sports Channel that it was pretty good.
Well, like I said, everybody that knows the game, which leaves him out, said it's the worst they've ever seen. Yeah, leave it to Denise Potvin to say the ice is good. Every article I've read, everybody I've talked to, it's in the paper again this morning about the horrible ice at the Air Canada Centre. And it goes to show you, every one of these new arenas, even in places like Toronto, where the weather is nice and cold out there, they should have no excuse for not being able to make good ice. They've only got like 100 years experience. They still can't do it right. Because probably the bozo that made the ice down here went up there and did the same crappy job. Well, I'm telling you, it's either warm in here or I'm like on death's door. It's got to be warm in here. It's not me. Aren't you warm in there? Of course, you're in there and I'm in here. It's schwitzing in here.
I turned it down.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, maybe somebody has jammed something up in the ceiling or something. Or maybe I'm just going through change of life again. Or maybe this thing is, although it's not my puss, it's not that thing again. See, I'm convinced that, in fact, I'm not even going to waste my time on the air with it, and I'm sure you're delighted to hear that, about this rash and this whole, it's never going to go away. I'll live with this the rest of my life. I'm prepared for that, to take it to my grave. Because I give up. I give up. You cannot find a doctor in this town of any kind who'll spend enough time with you, who'll make a dedicated effort to get something done. This isn't some serious, thank goodness, but I mean, it's annoying. It's debilitating. It's aggravating. And I don't believe in any of the doctors. I went to a dermatologist. I went to the hot shot there at the Cleveland Clinic. I went to Dr. You Don't Need Me with a rubber nose. And how many doctors can you go to before you say, screw it? Just screw it. Maybe one day I'll wake up, it'll be totally gone. It looks like it's gone. Then it makes a little comeback. Then it looks like, And you ask that question, how long, why should a physician who prescribes you a prescription drug not be able to give you an answer? I'm not talking a definitive answer because everybody's system is different, but a ballpark answer. How long does it take, if it really was an allergy to a drug like Adalat, how long does it take to get it out of your system? Sounds to me like a reasonable question, and the answer is always,
I don't know.
Yeah. But here's the bill, and good luck. You don't need me. Here's a mobile in West Palm Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
I just invested 15 minutes of my mobile phone to you. Could you give me 2 minutes?
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to be as serious as possible with it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're calling a lot of the people simpletons that are following these old fables or whatever you want to call them, stories.
Yes.
And you're entitled to that opinion.
That is
But don't you think that the gentleman that called you just shortly before me is a simpleton himself, claiming how you've changed his life and brought up points that made him see the light, and that he's not, he no longer believes.
Why does that make him a simpleton? Because he had an open mind and he, got away from the brainwashing. Why does that make him a simpleton?
My only other question to you is why?
Yeah.
Why do you feel so compelled to just bash Jesus Christ? And whether or not I believe in Jesus
to
has
bash
nothing
Jesus
to do with
Christ?
it. Right.
How about all the others? Doesn't make any difference whether it's Jesus. Didn't I just get through saying there was probably no such person as Moses or Abraham or Jesus or any of them? Didn't I just get through saying that?
Well, I hear you speaking about Jesus a lot more than Moses.
No, I do not. I did a whole show here on the Orthodox Jews a couple days before I went on vacation, and that story that was on the front page of the Herald, how they're, throwing rocks and swearing at each other over there in Israel, how the Jews hate each other because they're not religious enough for the Orthodox.
But wouldn't you agree that this is
I would not agree with anything you would say because it's all a bunch of bull crap. I'm not singling any of them out. It's all crap. All of it. Do you understand, sir? You follow my drift. It is all man-invented horse crap.
I understand your angle, your point of view with
it. It's not an angle. It's not a point of view. It's a fact. It's all bull crap. It's all man-invented garbage.
Well, what you're talking about is you're talking about a listener that's calling up and taking a talk show host number one topic for ratings. I mean, because basically that's what your show is revolved around.
Let me say this to you. When I came in this morning, and you can ask George, this was the farthest thing from my mind until I opened up the mail, and I got this book along with the letter from my Matthew in Boynton, Boca, or wherever the hell it is. That's what inspired me to talk about this.
Well,
I'm not doing it for ratings because I don't need any help with ratings. My ratings are fine. Whether I talk about the hockey game, about Jesus, about Moses, about Abraham, about Channel 4 News, about the Miami Herald, whatever, all these things that I talk about on this show, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. People listen to the show because they enjoy it.
I just wanted to get your point of view, Neil. Thanks a lot.
But what did he say? Do you have any idea what he said?
No.
I'm doing this for ratings. I'm doing it because, number one, nobody else will do it and needs to be said, and number two, it's very, very entertaining to me. Maybe it's not entertaining to this guy because he can't handle it, he can't deal with it. And as far as the guy that he's talking about, no, he's not a moron. He's one of the few people I've ever spoken to that had an open mind and said, you know something, this guy makes a hell of a lot of sense. The other stuff is all a bunch of bull crap. But quit picking on Jesus. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Jesus. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
Hey, Neil. Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Two things totally diametrically opposed. One, a few months ago I got sick and found out I have diabetes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't find out, just by a simple checkup. My blood sugar hit the fatal range, and was in the hospital for two weeks. And
how high was it?
Over 800.
Oh, Jesus, 800?
Yeah.
Woo!
I was in the hospital, like I said, for 2 weeks. That was end of August, beginning of September. Got to see that whole McGuire chase hooked up to an IV. The reason that I'm mentioning this to you is obviously, they were treating the symptoms but didn't exactly give me a great education about controlling diabetes other than, don't eat.
That's because they don't know anything about it.
Well, the thing is, I really wanted to thank you. As soon as I heard you talking about that book by Dr. Bernstein,
right.
I immediately went to Barnes & Noble. They didn't have it. Borders didn't have it. Went online, bought it, had it sent, overnight, so I'd have it the next day. Read it that night, literally until like 4 in the morning.
Right.
And I take insulin 3 times a day, regardless, and at night, depending on what my blood sugar is. And since I got that book, I haven't had to take, the additional insulin, and my blood sugar has been in total control. Normally you would think, okay, if I have chicken and broccoli and some rice or pasta, you'd be fine, but I was finding that my blood sugar was going up.
Forget the rice and the pasta.
Right, what people would consider a healthy meal, was terrible. I'd be better off having...
It all turns right to sugar.
Right. So, that book was brilliant, and I thank you for mentioning that on the air. I passed the information along to people that I've met who have diabetes or tell me that
I'm glad you reminded me, because I told Hank yesterday I was going to bring in the book. I'll bring it in tomorrow and get it over to him, because every person that's got diabetes ought to be forced to read that book.
Right.
Genius.
The other thing, and somewhat in the same regard, I go to Vegas a lot, and it's funny, when I go to Vegas with all the buffets and things, you would think that you'd have a more difficult time controlling your blood sugar, but it's actually easier with all the choices that you've got. It's easy to go to a buffet at one of the station hotels, and you could eat all the barbecue you want.
Right. All the beef, all the chicken.
Yeah, all the meat, all the chicken. It's actually easier for me. The easiest times I've had have been when I travel.
In fact, you go in for breakfast, the breakfast buffet, and eat all the omelets you want, and the
exactly.
sausage and bacon.
Let me just underline, anyone who knows somebody who has diabetes, or if they have it themselves, or has even a warning sign, get that book. Order it from Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com if they can't find it in the store.
It's called Diabetes Solution, Richard K. Bernstein. Dr. Bernstein is the author.
And the Jews, they know their stuff when it comes to medical information.
You bet.
Anyway, the other thing I wanted to discuss with you was Vegas. Mandalay Bay opens tonight.
Yeah, that's right. They open today, right. Next month, what is it, Venice? What is that one?
The Venetian opens.
Venetian opens next month, and then November, the Hilton one opens.
Actually, Paris opens in September. September 8th now is the target date.
Right.
But Neil, the best place in my recommendation, and I haven't even been there yet, it also opens tonight. At Mandalay Bay, there's actually 3 hotels in one building. Are you familiar with that?
No.
There's Mandalay Bay. One floor is going to be the House of Blues Hotel, and 4 floors of Mandalay Bay is going to be a Four Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Also owned by Circus. They're going to have the Four Seasons people actually running those 4 floors. Separate elevators, there are separate restaurants, separate entrance. As a matter of fact, you can't get into Mandalay Bay from the Strip. You can only get into the Four Seasons entrance from the Strip.
I'll let you go there first and see if it sinks or not, then let me know how you make it.
Actually, you know what? They spent like $8 million. They've corrected that problem. Supposedly, it's no longer sinking.
Thank God. Okay, listen, have a great time. Keep up the good work, pal.
Thanks, Neil. I appreciate your help.
Thanks.
It's not just the 1 to 2 hour. It's a phenomenon.
When I was a young man and started to date, my mama said, boy, chick, don't hesitate. Go find a young girl who cooks very well. You'll have such muzzle, and it would be swell if she made Kinishes better than mine. Boy! Kinishes better than mine. So I started to look, no time did I waste. I brought home Kinishes for my mother to taste. She sampled them all, but to my dismay, not one time did I hear her say, these Kinishes are better than mine. These Kinishes are better than mine. Boy! prayed every night and I made a wish that God would send me a perfect finish. My mom said, son, keep the faith. I'm sure that somewhere someone has made some finishes better than mine. Some finishes better than mine. Better than mine. Oh, well, my prayers were answered on the very next day when Rachel Nussbaum came with the tray. She set it on the table and Mama dug in. She wiped her face and said with a grin, these finishes are better than mine. These finishes are better than mine. All right. So Rachel and I got married, you see. We had 4 boys in our family. She tells them each night just before bed, look around for girls that you will wed. If they can make finishes better than mine. Finishes better than mine.
4 minutes after 1 at 560. That's Jew food, by the way, for all you goyim out there. Here's a payphone in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
All of these things. They put the lotion in the basket.
Yeah.
Neil, congratulations for putting up with this place for 23 years. Yeah, man. Your anniversary.
This is the guy with the eyes on a payphone. We have an open line in Broward, 567. What? You didn't recognize that? It was the guy with the eyes. It was Ken.
It was the guy with the effing eyes.
5670560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. See, he doesn't get it. I don't want to hear from him. Once, twice a year, maybe, okay? We're like, just kind of like bond slowly. Make it come back slowly. Ease into it. Putting up, and he's talking about me putting up with this town for 23 years, huh? How many years has he taken off my life along with his little group of cronies there? Ken off the old block and, oh my God, all those groupies. By the way, whatever happened to the thing?
Won't see him no more.
It didn't come back? I wonder what the thing does for a living now.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Oh. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Oh,
Yes,
Neil.
sir.
Yes. I want to get back to something you were talking about a little bit ago. I'm going to ask you a question. Would you like to live under a rulership where every time you did something wrong, somebody destroyed you?
Meaning what?
Meaning like under Castro or under Saddam Hussein every time somebody...
Or under God?
Well, that's the point I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Okay? If God had destroyed Adam and Eve and just started all over again, that's the kind of ruler he would be.
Well, he destroyed the whole human race and all the animals too when we had the flood.
Yeah, but God's purpose for the earth has never changed, and it will be fulfilled.
And what is that purpose, sir? What is the purpose?
The purpose for the earth
I'm breathless
was the original
waiting for this.
purpose back in the Garden of Eden, that man lived in perfection in a garden-like paradise here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Bible's account of what mankind is supposed to live under.
Isn't that silly?
And from the time Adam
Isn't that
sinned,
ridiculous?
God's purpose...
And she ate the pear. She ate the apple.
God already allowed
And then
it.
God saw the pear on the ground and God what they were doing.
Now the angels
He said, you
were
better put
looking
some clothes on.
The angels were looking on, and
Yeah,
God
and they were singing
could
my
have just
boyfriend's
destroyed Adam
Eve got real upset and jealous.
and left it at that. But
Yeah.
God wouldn't
Sir,
have
you know something?
that
Sir, can I ask you a question? How
you're
how old are you, ballpark? Are you like in your 40s?
Close.
30s, mid to late 30s?
Yeah.
And you're talking like this. You're saying these things.
Yeah, that's right.
Sir,
I am saying
please get yourself some help. Get yourself some professional help. He's talking Adam and Eve and the pear on the ground and the apple on the tree. And, And you know how not one person has responded to the point I made right in the beginning. Because in the beginning,
Neil, God
said, how many things have happened in our lifetimes that we have no answer to, that we still are asking all these questions about, that we'll never know the answers to, and this guy's talking about stuff that allegedly happened 5,000-6,000 years ago. Alleged. Even though we know the earth has been here for billions of years, but nevertheless, don't confuse us with the facts, because you're starting with that carbon dating and other science, it's those damn commie pinko scientists with that plot again. That heathen plot. The fact that there are people like this who have absorbed nothing of life, nothing of reality, that's why I talk about this on this show constantly. Not enough, constantly. And probably a hell of a lot more these next 3.5 years. Oh, we can't stand it. Well, you know, something too bad. Fine, go take up Parcheesi. Go play dominoes in Domino Park. Go play shuffleboard in Sunrise. And you still won't turn it off. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Boca?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Happy 23rd, Neil.
Thank you.
First-time caller, long-time listener. Hey, the Sunrise sign police are at it again.
Yeah.
Sun Sentinel, Sunday morning. They're banning all exposed neon signs.
That's not something new. It's an old story. It's from weeks ago.
Really?
And there's a stupid letter to the editor in the Sun Sentinel this morning from a Gene in Pompano Beach, and Gene ought to be horsewhipped. Oh, Sunrise, hats off to Sunrise City Manager Pat Salerno. As a former resident of that area, I'm happy to see the beautification of city business, and they want to be like Plantation. Yeah, they want to be like Plantation, repressive and a bunch of fascists.
Did you see what Rubenstein said here?
No.
He previously had voiced the support for the law. Then he changed his mind.
Yeah.
And probably he'd seek flexibility in the law, asking for contributions to his campaign.
Oh, there you go. Oh, how do you like that?
What a joke. You know, I'm going down to City Hall this afternoon. I'm going to really, I don't know, I can't stand it anymore.
Give Pat Salerno a message from me, okay? Tell him he's
Okay.
an asshole. Yeah.
Okay, and all you guys in Sunrise Commission could stick all the neon signs up your
rectum. Okay, good luck. Good luck. Sounded a little like Woody. We have an open line, didn't it? Open line at Broward, 5670560. Maybe he had a little Woody. And mobile one line is pound 560.
Oh, God, Neil.
Sitting in the mall and watching all the Jews walk by. Watching all the Jews walking through the mall before they die. Look at them wait on the line for free bread muffins. Oh, on the floor, then we'll start to buy. So let's go sitting in the mall and go watching all the Jews, watching all the Jews, watching all the Jews walk by.
114 at 560. Happy Purim, by the way. I'll never forget talk about religious hate. The scene years and years ago. I must have been working at W Snooze at the time. And I go to call on a client, on a sponsor, and it was a market, a kosher, a deli, some kind of a Jew place in Sunrise. And the scene that went on in there, you talk about ankle paramedics. They couldn't have hired enough ankle paramedics. I got there just when they were opening, with my luck. And they were waiting to attack with the push carts. And they were running up and down these narrow aisles. Somebody will remind me of the name of that joint, someplace in Sunrise. Oh, my God. What a zoo. What a circus. See, people who enjoy that kind of environment, those are the kind of people who like to eat at the Rascal House. People, most of them from New York. New York Jews who are masochistic, who enjoy being treated very rudely, and who enjoy an atmosphere and ambiance that's almost humanly unacceptable. Those are the people that love the Rascal House. I mean, I'm going to tell you, if you spent more than 30 seconds in that joint, no matter how Jewish you were, and you didn't develop a certain stream of anti-Semitism in your system somewhere, it was miraculous. It had to be a miracle from above. Even I was saying, holy Moses. Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Neil.
Yes.
Happy Purim.
And back to you.
Yes.
Happy Homentage.
Happy Homentage. And, well, I've been sitting here in Miami Beach, and how fitting you play that song. I've been watching all the Jews go by.
They're on the way to Boca.
No. Can you explain to us, Goyim, what this whole Purim thing is here? I'm a little lost.
It's another culinary Jewish holiday. It's another day to eat.
It's another day to get fat.
Right, that's right.
Oh, that's great.
A lot of deli, lots of Homentation, which are delicious, but much too fattening for me anymore.
They all seem to revolve around food.
Right, that's why the Jewish holidays are great. We have a lot of them, and they all resolve. But that's why we, just as a token, we throw in Yom Kippur when you don't eat anything to try to make up for the other 20 holidays when you pig out.
The Day of Atonement.
In fact, that's the only time Jews are big on anything is pigging out on a holiday.
Oh, boy. Well, to get back to what that gentleman was saying about the craziness, I mean, just look at what happened in Israel in '96, a few years ago. The extremists taking out their own leader.
Right, that's right. Rabin shot by an Orthodox fanatical Jew, not by some Arab, but by another Jew.
He was killed by another Jew.
This is religion. This is the kind of hate, the kind of violence, the kind of crap that religion sows all over the world. Almost all of it can be traced back to religion. I was watching a movie on Court TV a couple of nights ago with Rod Steiger. It was called Manhunt in the Dakotas about Call. What was his name? Whatever his name was, from the Posse Comitatus. one of these clan groups. And, you know, all of these groups, the same things in common. They're all under the banner of being good Christians and good God-fearing men, and they're nothing but bigots, murderers.
If you look at what the man had been doing, he was one of those at a time, and he actually was coming around and starting to do the right thing, trying to make peace over there in that madness that's over in Israel. You know,
the peace in the Middle East is an oxymoron. It will never happen.
He was trying, though.
That's why he's not here today. So was Anwar Sadat.
They don't want peace.
Okay, sir. God bless you.
Happy Purim, you know.
Okay, back at you. Watch your beanie. Watch where you spin it. 2 open lines in Dade. Be sure you put that mezuzah. Oh, boy, speaking of fat Jews that smell bad. There's Josh Friedman. Boy, he's like fat, you know. He really is still. No, he is. He's still fat. I don't know. No, please. I'm going to lunch at my mother's in a little while. I don't want to see your before photos. It would spoil my appetite. By the way, since I am going to lunch at Mommy's today, I just want to say this. 2 words that came to mind during that last break. Nursing home. The next time that I hear, oh, your house is such a mess. You boys live like such stuff. Next time I hear anything that I don't like, nursing home. Those 2 words keep resonating through my mind. Sounds like such a pleasant alternative. Plus, I own that joint, too, by the way, now. She thought that was going to be a mitzvah. I own that place. So guess what? Well, I'll tell her when I get there. Because I checked the prices on those places. Man, they've really gone like through the roof. Anybody want to buy that place? We have 2 open lines in Dade, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Here's a Mobile in Homestead. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes.
What bothers me the most, sir, is
what
the hypocrisy.
The what?
Hello?
The hypocrisy?
Yes, sir. Why do you keep? I don't understand the promotion. The Cinemax 11:30 tonight. Why are you even doing that?
Why am I doing what?
Sir, why are you helping promote? Do you know that?
We have an open line in Broward and 2 in Dade. 567-0560 and pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Here's a Mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
A guy was an asshole.
Yes.
And let me just say that wasn't religion created to control the masses, the lower class, the morons, originally?
Of course. Right.
Yeah, quick little story.
Invented to keep people in line and at the same time take whatever they have to give.
Exactly.
Whatever they got, you got part of it.
And it's the same now. The elite don't follow religion. It's always the ones that are the workers, the hard workers. Anyways, quick story. My parents they catch me humping the maids a couple of times, and they ask us to, please, it's a mortal sin. You're going to go to hell.
You're humping the maids in the ass? Well, good. I hope you both had a good time. Okay, we had an open line at Broward 2 and Dade, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Another one of those Julios with a wild imagination. Too much wacky weed, I think. If they go and see the Jamaicans over here, then, you know, maybe it'd calm them down a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes?
Hey, I'm a 23-year-old Catholic, and the only good thing I liked about being an altar boy when I was younger, I would work about 4 or 5 funerals, and the funeral guys would give me silver dollars.
Uh-huh.
And plus,
they'd give you silver dollars, and the priest would give you a head. So what else do you mean?
Yeah, right. Or you can finagle out some wine. You know, talking about the Bible and everything, it's so much hearsay. I don't know if you remember in school you would play a game called Telephone.
Yeah, that's right. Sure.
Sure, the teacher would tell the first person in line.
And by the time it got to the third person, not the
it would
fourth
be
or
like
fifth,
the
but by
cat
the
is
time
red,
it got
it
to
would
the
get to
second
the-
translation, the story would be incredibly different. And it's like when they have witnesses to accidents or crime scenes, and they got like 3 different people, and they give 3 entirely different versions of what they think they just saw. I brought that up earlier when I talked about the Kennedy assassination and all the people there that day in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, and how they all or most of them thought they saw something different. And these people won't touch any of that stuff.
Hey, Neil, back then, I know they didn't have arithmetic, an alphabet or anything like that, so it had to be...
When, during the Kennedy assassination?
Well, yeah, right. Well, during the, you know, all the days of,
Well, what do you mean they didn't have an alphabet?
Well, like they
had
just
Hebrew?
passed on
They had
stories from
Yiddish?
generation to generation, so you knew...
They used to say, Hakmer Nishke China, and I guess they weren't listening?
Correct. Hey, I'd just like to call a couple of
That's
people...
what Josh Friedman said, Hakmer Nishke China.
Can I call a couple people?
And I said, leave the China alone, both the Fleshik and the Milchik, fatso. Oh, you know what? He came in here, it just dawned on me. You know why he's here? And look how red in the face he's getting, too. He heard we had those Hummintashen today. Yeah, that's why he's here. Chazer, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Can I call a couple of people douchebags?
Go ahead.
Luke Richardson and Ken Belanger. Douchebag!
Okay. We have an open line in Broward 2 and Dade. 567, the hockey pseudo-intellectual. 567-0560 and pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Somebody tell Geldy, by the way, that Theo Fleury is not playing on the number 1 power play line for Colorado, if he would have watched last night, which he did not. I'm going to say it again. It's one thing. It's boring enough to listen to people if they knew what they were talking about with this sports stuff 20 hours a day, the same tired, repetitive crap. But if they knew what they were talking about, at least there might be some credibility involved. Well, when you got little punks who don't even, watch anything and they sit and read stuff out of a newspaper somewhere, or when you got so-called sports writers who write whatever propaganda the organization is peddling that day, man, is it sad. Michael Russo, I'm going to tell you, talking about the family of the fat, you are a fat head. You're not just a fat person, you're a chubby head. You're a simpleton. Just another propaganda peddler. Open line at Broward, 2 and Dade, 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello. Okay, nice talking to him. That leaves us with 2. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, first-time caller. How are you?
Okay.
Speaking about the Bible, have you ever noticed that there is not one single sentence that praises intelligence in the Bible? Not one.
Well,
okay.
Of course, because how could anybody intelligent wouldn't be reading in the first place?
Exactly. It's a great piece of fiction, by the way.
No, it's not.
I enjoyed it immensely.
It's not a great piece at all. It's a ridiculous piece of nonsense.
And also, by the way,
total illogic.
What do the Catholics and all the religious people say about what was God's purpose of having the dinosaurs hang out for like 100 million years? What was the purpose of that?
Probably the same reason that nature's got man hanging around for, a few thousands of years, because man will be extinct too someday. And then, the cockroaches or the rats or whatever takes over the world, maybe they'll have people museums.
Gotcha, Neil. Hey, I enjoy your show. And by the way, Neil.
Yes, sir?
Mickey Aronson blows, man.
Yeah.
Okay?
I know that.
Okay. Have a good one.
And maybe he'll help you out. Hey, listen, Daddy's got his $9 billion over there in Israel without paying any taxes on it, and Mickey's, he's in bed there with Mayor Penis in Dade County. Just a corrupt, bankrupt town that just in the same little people peddling their propaganda, telling us about how great it is, everything is wonderful. And then my good friend Howard Kleinberg, who's like, Howard, I realize you're getting a little bit old. You're a little older than I am, Howard. You're a great guy, but, writing about all this ancient Miami history, that's his new deal now. Writing about the Miami Circle and about preserving all the history of the rich history of this area. Does this area have a rich history? No. All those peasants is what they were. I hate to say that, but they were like peasants. The Tequestas? Huh? It was a peasant tribe. Were they like hotshots? Like the Iroquois? Well, see, I'm prejudiced. I'm from upstate New York.
Can't beat that gator meat.
They asked me how I knew that Neil was a Jew. Oh, I just smile and say, yes, he may be gay, but he's different in one way. Look, on his head you'll find a spot of the Hasidic kind. Oh, when you sits on his throne and looks at empty phones, there's a yarmulke on his dome. Oy vey.
Oh, 1:30 at 560 WQAM. Hank out at Doral this afternoon between 2 and 6. Boog has got baseball and other stuff tonight at Shula's. And then we got Ed Kaplan, 10 o'clock. So anyway, Maddie upstairs, which I told you the story at the beginning of the show. We got the water Nazi, which you already know about upstairs. Don't take any more water. And we also have the food Nazi, which they look the same, they sound the same. He's an underling. He's like, what is his title? Does he have a title? Do we know what he really does?
Sales manager of some sort.
Yeah, he's another one of the 82 sales managers we have in the building. And believe me, way down near the bottom of the totem pole, this guy, little shrimpy 2-foot guy. And, they moved everybody upstairs. Like I said, when you're in business, and you've got all kinds of people. Some of the people up there making a few bucks, and most of the people are making not too much, like the underlings. So if they want to have a meal up there, what's the big deal? And what is it his business if people are schlepping, carrying food through one part of the building to get to another part instead of walking all the way around the mulberry bush and walking 600 yards to get to deliver somebody some free food? How come you people up there can't mind your own business? You all want to boss everybody around because, like I said before, and I'm right on target, and I know it beyond a shadow of a doubt, you suffer from a deep inferiority complex, Maddie, just like the water Nazi up there. Although, no, I take it back. In both your cases, it's not a complex. You're both inferior. But got to push everybody around. And I'm sure that everybody in this audience who works somewhere, wherever you work, unless you're the boss, you've got people there who want to boss everybody else around. Even if they don't have a goddamn title. Even if they're just some kind of a schlep. Oh, you can't do that. They just kind of assume it. They assume their way into a position of authority. And again, when you've got not weak management, but no management like we got here, that's what goes on. And of course, the longer you've been here and been part of that little ass-grabbing fraternity that goes on up there, the more you feel empowered to go around bossing everybody around and ruining their day. And like I said before, way back when I first came to this radio station, life is too short to take crap from anybody, especially some little shrimp like him, some little weasel like him. So I got news for you, Maddie. When we get up there in the third floor in a month or 2 months or whatever the hell it's going to be, if we ever live long enough to get up there, don't even think, don't even dream, like when Chuck from across at the subcenter brings our lunch in there, don't think Chuck is going to be forced to take the time to walk 7,000 extra yards to make you happy. We will draw him a diaphragm of the shortest possible route to get off that elevator into our studio and bring us to free chow. Butt out. Mind your own goddamn business. A bunch of little busybodies. He ought to be moving into my mother's condo. That's who ought to be in there. A real yenta. A little busybody bossing everybody else around. And of course it takes a real butch guy to boss around a bunch of kids that are working for $4 an hour. Takes a real macho man to do that, Maddie. You little shrimp. You little pathetic weasel, you. Just wait until we get into the first day and light up our celebratory stogie in there. And they see cigar smoke coming through the vents. Oh, my God, this is an old smoke. Yeah, blow it out your ass, okay, in the smoke, too.
Rectum.
All these dictators in America, everybody wants to boss everybody else around. It all ties in with this religious crap. It's an attitude thing. It's not live and let live. It's not DNH, do no harm. It's DH, do as much harm as you possibly can get away with. That's what it is. Inflict, 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 inflict. Christ almighty, you'd think that they were stealing tubes out of the transmitter, final tubes up there or something. They're trying to have a little lunch, a little something to sustain them through their day. Which I noticed that we fed everybody out here yesterday. I think everybody went home gesund and pumping from this place yesterday, thanks to Jeff Cohen at Pizza Loft, and thanks to us. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I was watching the news last night, and they're talking about a woman getting shot in the head at an ATM machine.
Yes.
Or
at an ATM, yes.
Yeah, and talk to the parents or something. You know, God help me. God did.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I'm thinking
God
to myself,
helped her survive it.
Well, I'm thinking to myself, what if she died?
Well, listen. Even the heart died on Guiding Light. I mean, he can work for a little while, but then he's busy. Got to move on to other stuff.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
In fact, if it wouldn't have been for her, maybe Hart would have lived, you know, but he had to pay his... He can only deal with so much tourists at one time.
Well, what about all this? Then they go to 5 other stories where people died.
Right.
Well, so you say, well, those people God didn't care about?
Sir, he works in mysterious ways. That's the catch-all... Sir, that's the catch-all phrase for all these things.
Yeah,
he works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. I just bought tickets for Rome, 10 days, the end of May.
Well, my best suggestion is, I know you'll have a great time. It's a great time of the year to go. Stay on the east side of the Tiber River.
Yeah.
Do not go and see the Getchkis and the Schleppers at the Vatican, believe me.
I'll stay as far away from the Vatican as possible.
Okay.
I will say this, Neil, though. I really believe that religion has done a great service in terms of some of the greatest art and some of the greatest music was created because of religion, for religion. And when you step into the Sistine Chapel...
Sir, if I have to pick and choose between having all of that art or having a civilized world, it would be a tough choice, but I think I'd pass on the art.
Well...
I'd pass on it. Have a good time, pal. Have a great time. 2 open lines in day 2 in Broward. 5670560, pound 560 on the Mobile 1 line. Slowing down here in this last hour, and I'm still not convinced. I came on here today with this letter and this book in hand, which I received in the mail from Matthew. Boy, what a name that is, huh? We're finding out today what an unctuous name Matthew is. Stop and think about people named Matthew. Is there anybody named Matthew that you can, say anything good about? Matt Damon? Matt Dillon? Oh! Couldn't act his way out of a paper sack. Even Marshall Dillon is better than Matt Dillon. Who do you know named Matt that's like somebody of substance? Huh? How about Matty Lesham? And Whammy. I rest my case. There you go, another answer.
Matthew, was he?
Huh? Hey, that Israeli thing, that all had to be an act. 5670560, pound 560 on the Mobile 1 line, 22 till 2 at QAM.
Lick it and spit.
560, happy Purim. Maybe somebody will call before the end of the show. We only got a few minutes left and explain exactly what Purim is again, about Haman and Esther and all these other silly bubble mices, okay? Although I do like the good Hamantash and the real ones, and don't ever bring us any more again. Thank you anyway. We got an apology from Dave Halber. Is that Dave Halberstam's wife? She called to apologize, said I'll never do it again. And by the way, everybody in the building, when I was talking about Matty Bell upstairs and his aberrant food Nazi behavior, they said, oh! Right on. We second that emotion. Everybody, every single person in this building, even what I don't want to say. Well, she don't want her authority usurped. You know how that is. She don't want that water being served too much either. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I do know someone named Matthew. In fact, he's my doctor, and he seems to be like your doctors. His general procedure is, this is your blood pressure reading, here's your prescription,
right,
and let me $50.
Right, and good luck, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought I heard on your show some time ago that you said you didn't take your diabetic medicine in the morning. That was wrong advice.
Right.
When do you take it, and did it help you?
Take it with a meal, later in the. I have to take it after 3 or 4 in the afternoon. That's it. After that point, it will kick in. If I wake up in the morning and my blood sugar is 200, God forbid.
Yeah.
And I take a Glynace 6 milligram, it does nothing. It will not kick into my metabolism. It will do nothing till later in the day. In addition to which, you're supposed to take that medication with a meal anyway. It says right on the label, but the original doctor that put me on that stuff, take one in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Years ago.
That's what I got.
Yeah, and is it doing anything for you?
No, not a lot.
Well, that's why. That's why it's not working for you. The best time to take it is you take your own blood sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, before you go to bed at night, take it, and then take your pill at night before you go to bed, and you'll wake up in the morning, and it maybe increase a little bit like mine does, but it won't be too bad.
Oh,
or if it was very high, if it was 180 at night, and you take the pill, you get up in the morning, and then maybe down to 120, 110, which is acceptable.
Well, I'm going to try that then. You take one in the afternoon and one at night then.
If as needed. Now, if I do the Atkins diet, I don't have to take them at all. But
I say, and one other thing, you mentioned a book that diabetics should read.
Right.
I didn't catch the title of that.
It's a Diabetes Solution by Dr. Richard Bernstein. It's a hardcover. It's the best book you'll ever buy in your life. Diabetes Solution.
By Bernstein.
Right.
Well, I really appreciate your advice on that.
Okay, good luck, pal.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a serious business, man. And, of course, it's very depressing, too, because those of you, like Josh Friedman, there's a classic example. Or Boog Shambi. You young guys that are fat as a pig, and we have plenty of them around here. And like the what do we call them, the wildebeest? Maybe you think you can get away with it now and you can survive because your body is still young and you haven't damaged it as much yet as you will later on if you don't cut the crap. But I'm telling you, far be it for a fat old Jew like me to lecture, but I'm telling you right now, once you get to the point where you become a diabetic, you got real problems because then all of the stuff that you love to eat, can't eat this, can't eat my pasta, can't eat anything. Yeah, I mean, it sounds great, the Atkins, all that meat and all that seafood and lobster, but you know something, how much meat and seafood can you eat? How many omelets can you eat in a given day? How many cheeseburgers can you eat without the bun? No fries, no onion rings. No carbohydrates. So once you cross over that threshold, once you get to that point where you're really diabetic, man, and you can prevent it, the type 2 diabetes, you can prevent it by losing the goddamn weight now while you're young instead of being a big fat dead tub like Boog Shambi's going to be someday. Look at the dead entertainers just in the last 2 years. Now I grant you, mix a little. Of course, when you mix the drugs in there and you're already fat and your heart's got that burden to begin with, like John Belushi and John Candy, who did I leave out?
What's this fat tub that just died of an OD? Chris Farley.
Oh, Chris Farley. There you go. Dead. Fat and dead. Like Dom DeLuise said in Fatso, the good people are the fat people, and the fat people are the dead people. So, next year on my 24th anniversary, if I make it that long, bring me a card. Don't bring me a cake. Don't bring me a cheesecake. Don't bring me food. Bring me a card. But you know something? You know why yesterday was so pleasant? Not only were a lot of people trying to be nice, which, you appreciate. Even Sam, well, he put on a bad act. But the fact is, guess who I didn't see all day because he was otherwise occupied? Was Greg Reed. And I don't want him to take this personally or take it the wrong way because he's very sensitive. But I enjoy not seeing him. You know what I mean? In other words, if I saw him one more time, like in about 3.5 years, like the last week that I work here, and he came down on the last day and shook my hand, said, thanks for a great job, have a great retirement and a great life, and good luck to you, and that would be the last time I saw him, that would be so sensational. That would be a gift. Huh? Why are you laughing? I'm being honest. It's not that I don't like the guy, it's just that when I see him, I get physically, I just can't deal with it. Because you're looking at a guy that's like scratching his head like Jerry Lewis, like that. Lady, I'm telling you. Now and with the same haircut too, by the way, only not quite as neat. He's just not a bad guy, but he's a bozo, he's just a bozo. And he's got this circus running around up there. Even Barnum and Bailey is embarrassed by what he's got going up there on the 3rd floor. So I'll see you in about 3.5 years, Greg. And thanks. Just send the messages down, in a bottle.